This is a Miami Sports Music Podcast Network production. This is the #1 Miami fan morning show. Clock Blockers, let's go.
I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter column. Whole squad been trained to go. Fence for life, we throw the folk. Singing this just to
What's up, baby? Ha ha! It is opening day. Beautiful day. One of the best days of the year. I love it. Good morning, my family with a PH and my fellow Finlaws, to the #1 Miami fan morning show. Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. I am your host, Stephen D. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Stephen D. SKPL. Spread kindness, positivity, and love. You can also follow Miami Sports Music everywhere at Miami Sports Music, except on Twitter, where we are at MIA Sports Music. Also want to remind you all, too, hit the like button. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button. Let's go. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. If you want to get in the chat and you want to discuss or you want to comment, you got to be subscribed to the channel. So make sure that y'all do that. Subscribe today. Make sure y'all do that. It's a big deal. And when you do subscribe, hit the bell notification and hit all notifications. That way, anytime Miami Sports Music goes live for anything or a new video drops from Solo D, whatever it might be, you will be first to get the notification on your phone. So make sure you hit that bell notification when you subscribe to the channel. I also want to remind you, too, if you want to sign up and become a member of the channel, it goes such a long way into helping the channel grow. And let me tell you why. Because you get access to perks and you become part of, wait for it, the family. That's right. You guys can sign up today. The link is in the description below. It says membership right next to it. Please click the link. Can we get 3 new members today? Let's get 3 new members to the channel today. We'd love for new people to sign up and become part of the family. We got a lot of people already in the chat that are part of the family, and they're beautiful and wonderful people, and we want to see more. All right. If you guys want to help the channel grow by donating, there's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can use the YouTube Live Super Chat, which is the $ below the bottom of the chat, or you can also use, if you're rewatching us and not watching us live and you're watching us later this afternoon or at another time in the future, you can do the YouTube Super Thanks. And if you're rewatching us and you're not watching us live, right below the bottom of the screen, you'll see a heart sign with a dollar sign in the middle of a heart. And you click that. It's called the YouTube Super Thanks. You can hit that, and you guys can donate to the channel that way. If you don't want to use YouTube, there's 2 other ways you can do. You can do Cash App or PayPal. You can use the QR code that is right on your screen, or hit $MSM Podcast Network, or PayPal, which is also MSM Podcast Network. All right, let me give a big shout out to our sponsors of the show, ZSM Sports. ZSM Sports, the #1 place to get your cards, jerseys, balls, and hard-to-find items. Make sure you follow ZSM Sports today. Zachary has a litany and a buttload of stuff coming out with a lot of great players in the very near future. So make sure you follow ZSM Sports on Instagram at SportsZSM. Hangry Owls, good food, good mood, craft subs and salads. Make sure you follow Hangry Owls today at 305-279-5332. And if you're in Pembroke Pines, make sure you guys take a picture, tag Hangry Owls on Facebook or Instagram at Hangry Owls. Vasasaur, that's right, Vasasaur Brewing Company in Wynwood, Miami, Florida. It is the #1 destination for your craft brew, your local brew, right there in South Florida. They're absolutely amazing. We love some Vasasaur Brewing Company. And Born and Raised is the official beer of Clock Blockers, a beer that was created for the fans by the fans, just like this show and podcast network. A great place to sit.com. That's right, a great place to sit.com. You guys can go to it. Check them out. You guys need a ticket to anything, concert, sports, theater. Go to agreatplacetosit.com. If you look in the description below, you'll see the link to agreatplacetosit.com. And if you find a ticket, the price you see is the price you get. There's no extra ticket or service fees. They're absolutely amazing. Now, here's one extra thing to it. If you guys see a price that you like, you guys see that ticket, call the number in the description below. Give them the code word DWA, and you will get a 5% additional off on your ticket. So make sure you all do that today. And last but not least, Tail Greeter. We love Tail Greeter. Download the app today on your current Apple or Android device today. And we got a lot of great events, but none other. If you're coming down to Miami, you got to go to East 32. It is the #1 destination at the Hard Rock to get your tailgate on. That is correct. You guys want to party before the game? The party is the tailgate, and it is the best place to go. We got a DJ, we got the podcast, and most importantly, we got the food and drinks. They're all amazing. It's all inclusive. Make sure you guys, when you're getting ready to come down to Florida this year to see the Dolphins play, you guys go to Tail Greeter, type in East 32 Dolphins tailgate, and you guys are going to be set to go. Hey, if you're making an away game this year, I do want to let you know Miami Sports Music and Tail Greeter are teaming up for the Tailgate Tour. What is the Tailgate Tour? Let me tell you. We're going to 3 destinations this year, and we're going to be partnering up with Tail Greeter, the local tailgate, and a couple of other places to do a meet and greet the night before and a awesome tailgate during the game. We're going to be going to Washington for the FedEx Takeover. It's going to be awesome. Make sure you guys are there for that. We're going to be going to Philadelphia for the Philly Vinvasion. That's going to be an awesome trip as well. We're going to have some Philly cheesesteaks. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then we're going to have the Baltimore Beatdown 2023. We did the Baltimore Beatdown last year. It was absolutely amazing. And we're going to do a bigger and badder this year. All right, we got a great show lined up for you today. Just so you all know, we're going to be talking opening day baseball. Super excited about that. Some Miami Marlins baseball. It's going to be great. We're going to talk Lamar Jackson, but we're going to get it from the contract standpoint because I think this is very interesting to kind of dive into. People just want to talk about the Lamar situation itself. I do want to get into is Lamar right or the Ravens right, but I want to get into the contract negotiation part from the standpoint of is the league and the organization, the teams, the owners, how are they viewing this compared to the Players Association or the Players Union and Lamar from that matter? Because we look at the Laramie Tunzel situation and we look at the Lamar Jackson situation. They both are players that represented themselves in contract negotiations and are both being viewed differently. So I can't wait to get in, and we're going to dive into that. And then obviously there was a great podcast that was released yesterday by Mike Silver called Open Mic, and Mike McDaniel was there, and it was a good hour. And we're going to break down some of that interview and kind of the reaction, because I think Mike McDaniel said a lot of stuff that Dolphin fans need to hear. And most importantly, we're sitting on a gold mine, and I can't wait to get into that. But it is Thursday, and that means I have my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. East 32 himself, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about Mr. Cameron 954. What's up, baby?
Good morning, Stephen D. Good morning, Clock Blockers crew. What's up? Happy opening day. Happy opening day. Happy opening day.
Noob, super excited, man.
And I want to shout out Noob, that dirty Marlins fan. He's calling me a dirty Marlins fan. I'm a Cubs fan at heart, but I will be at opening day for the Marlins this afternoon.
You're going? You're headed there?
Hell yeah. 4 o'clock game, man. I'll be down there about 2 o'clock.
So all right, so for the people that don't know, so let me tell you, I live in Baltimore. Baltimore's opening day is on Thursday next week, and I did 10 years in a row. And opening day is a religious event as far as I'm concerned when it comes to baseball, man, and it's absolutely beautiful. But if you're in South Florida, what does opening day look like in Miami to Marlins fans? Because for us at Camden Yards in Baltimore, you got pickles. The pregame starts at 9 a.m. and goes up until first pitch at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. What does opening day look like in Miami for you?
It's actually pretty fun. That boils down to how the Marlins have really evolved Lone Depot Park and created a family fun situation down there. I mean, regardless of the product in the field, at least they're going to fill the house on opening day. Tomorrow, you could probably buy a ticket for $10. But at least for today, opening day, it's a celebration. Years past ownership, they brought Muhammad Ali out there. They've had, Gloria Estefan singing. It's going to be a party out there. The one good thing that the Marlins organization has done over the past couple of years is really engage the local fan base, especially the younger generations, and made it more fan friendly. They're doing beer fest. They're doing, bring your dog to the park. But the food options down there are all local Miami products, and it really feels like a Miami environment. So it's a lot of fun. But I will say, and shout out to Noob again, I'm flying up to Cincinnati for the Cubs-Reds opening day up there when Cincinnati opens their stadium next Monday.
Man, is Cincinnati got a new stadium?
No, they're opening up. I'm just saying they're opening their home.
Great American Ballpark. Absolutely beautiful stadium.
One of the great places
I
to
hope
see
they did. I love that stadium. That stadium in Cincinnati is great.
One of the great places to see a baseball game.
It is, man. They have a Hall of Fame that's kind of attached to it, like a Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame that's very interactive, and it's really, really cool. If you guys ever get a chance to go to Cincinnati, check that out. All right, look, here's one of the best parts about opening day, especially today in Miami. You got two potential Cy Young Award winners, or people that could be vying for a Cy Young this year on the mound. Sandy Alcantara and also Max Scherzer.
Yeah, Alcantara.
Give us a breakdown of their pitching matchup today.
Yeah, man, it's a great pitching matchup. So there's great pitching matchups up and down the board in opening day today. There's only one rookie starting, and that's out in Oakland. But yeah, you've got two former Cy Young, the past. The reigning Cy Young Award winner in Sandy Alcantara and a past winner in Max Scherzer. I mean, who can't love that? I mean, regardless,
it's one of the best pitching matchups of the entire day around the league, as far as I'm concerned.
100%. It's gonna be
like
fun.
Just looking around here today. There's some great matchups around staying in our division, at least the NL East, from a Marlins standpoint. The Braves and the Nationals, they first pitch is at 105. I've been to a Nationals opening day before, and it's unreal. And by the way, here's another thing. Before I go on to that, in the past years, they usually have the first game be Washington, and it's usually the night before. This year, opening day is the same for everybody. Is this something new that baseball is trying to go after? Because I felt like they would do a marquee game before in the past.
No, and I like it. It has to do a lot with the World Baseball Classic just ending, players, needing a little bit more rest, but also all the changes, and we can get into that whether it's today or another show, but all the rules changes, including the schedule changes. So it's more of an evenly distributed schedule. For example, the Marlins only face their National League East opponents a third of the time than they did in past years.
Correct.
Every team plays every other team in the league.
I know it's a balanced schedule. It's something new to Major League Baseball. I like it personally. It gives, everywhere that there's a Major League Baseball stadium, every 2 years you're going to see a team, so I don't have to wait 6 years or 4. I think the Cubs between Camden Yards was like literally like 10 years or something like that between visits or something like that. It was insane. But yeah, so I mean, look, Giants, Yankees, Garrett Cole on the mound for the Yankees, Corey Kluber on the mound for the Boston Red Sox against the Baltimore Orioles today in Boston. Your Cubs have thrown out Stroman on the mound against Burns against Milwaukee. Let's see. Yep. We got Jacob deGrom in Texas against Philadelphia.
Yes, Aaron
Nola. Yeah, Aaron Nola's on the mound. And let me tell you that Philadelphia team losing Rhys Hoskins, it's going to be a very interesting squad. The NL East just in general, right? Like the Mets losing their closer Edwin Diaz. You would have said maybe the Mets might have been favorites in the NL East, but injuries keep on occurring with maybe the Phillies and the Mets. It gives the opportunity for the Braves, maybe even the Marlins to step up, and make a run at this thing. I don't know if the Marlins are anywhere near the favorite. I don't believe that they are. But, man, would I love to see them make a playoff run because they do have one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Well, not only the best pitchers, but the best rotations. You could arguably say they have, behind the Mets, the best rotation in the National League East, especially these young upside arms like Trevor Rogers and Cabrera behind Alcantara. They're awesome. If they play up to their potential, the Marlins could have the best rotation in the East. Now, they're predicted to win 76 games, 72 games, depending on who you talk to. I think they're an 80-win team, but
I was about to say, I feel like the Marlins are an 80-win team. Yeah, that's where I'm
Yeah,
at.
but I mean, they have to have a lot of things go right. Garcia had a shitty year last year. He's got to bounce back. Soler's got to stay healthy. You got Jazz Chisholm out in center field. Let's hope he doesn't, break an ankle out there and kind of lives up to his potential. A lot of good things have to happen. That said, they made some offseason moves that solidifies their teams, make them more competitive, and at least put them in the conversation. That's all you want.
World Baseball Classic MVP, Major League Baseball, World Baseball phenom Shohei Ohtani, potentially making his final opening day start for the Angels, depending on how everything goes this year. But he starts at 10 o'clock tonight against the Oakland Athletics in Mueller. Shohei Ohtani, man, is he not one of the greatest things in baseball that baseball has ever seen?
He is clearly the best player in baseball, best player in the world right now, and he's must watch TV, whether he's on the mound or at the plate.
I need you all to realize something for baseball. I know there's not as many baseball fans during the morning show, but if you want to see something very unique in sports, Shohei Ohtani, a Japanese baseball player, this man pitches 103 miles an hour. He's topped out at 103 miles an hour on the gun as a fastball, and he's led the American League in home runs. And he is just, there's something that, by the way, the last time that's happened and I think he led the league in strikeouts, I think at 1.2 during his tenure so far. So the last time that happened where a player led the league in home runs and led the league in strikeouts, a player by the name of Babe Ruth, maybe you've heard of him. And so Shohei Ohtani is something very unique, and he's up for, a new contract at the end of this year. It's going to be very interesting to see. That's my last thing, and then we'll leave baseball and we'll move on. This year, especially with the World Baseball Classic and getting to see the wonderful talent that's around the world, how international signings kind of work. I'm still kind of learning how it works, because you get some of these guys that we see on the Japanese team. There's one on the Mets, Yoshida, if I'm correct. Maybe I'm butchering his name, and I apologize if I am. But I think he got $90 million from the Boston Red Sox. But there's a couple of other players that said at the end of this year, they're going to be up, and they could get as high as 120. And then Shohei Ohtani, they're talking about 500, 600 million potentially for somebody like this. Does he need to just have an awesome year in order for that to happen, or what does that look like?
No way. I mean, he could have a marginal year. I think he's traded by the trade deadline, because it's clear that he has made intuitions that he doesn't want to stick around the Angels, and there's other. I
think Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani get traded at the All-Star break. Personally,
listen, that'd be crazy if they did. Arguably the two best players in baseball, you trade them, but they haven't done anything with them. So listen, they had
the two best players in baseball on their team for 3 to 4 years and made the playoffs once. I think, I don't even know if they ever made the playoffs. So now that I think about it,
they're on paper, they can make the playoffs this year, but what do? You hold on to him and he still leaves and get nothing for him. So that's why I think he gets traded.
Yeah, me too. All right, if you guys want to see the full rundown, go to MajorLeagueBaseball.com. Again, the first game's at 1:05 on Major League Baseball Network, Braves Nationals. Your Marlins game, for those of you across the country that are watching, will also be on Major League Baseball Network at 4:10 first pitch. And if you want to watch some Shohei Ohtani, that game will also be on Major League Baseball Network at 10:07. So a lot of awesome baseball throughout the day. Make sure you guys check out the action. And late this year, we're going to do a lot more stuff for the baseball fans. We're gonna do some pre-recorded segments. We're going to follow the Marlins a little bit more in detail this year, and we're going to try to just have more baseball coverage in general on the podcast network.
I do want to shout out our good friend Xavier Scruggs, man. He's moving over to the Apple platform. He's the main talent over there on Apple, and giving his side of baseball perspective. And shout out to X. I know he's still a fan of the show, and so perhaps we can get him on here one of these days.
Yeah, man, I've been texting him, and when I found out he was on Apple, I just said, "Hey, congratulations," and he shot me back a thumbs up. So yeah, he's doing it, man. I'm excited about it. All right, let's move on a little bit to the world of basketball, Cameron. We got to talk about it just to touch up on it. The Miami
Heat. You saw my tweet last night.
You said so. This was the tweet I saw last night from Cameron. Yesterday, the Heat lost to the New York Knicks 101-92, all right, which sucks, right? But he goes, and I quote, if they don't make the playoffs or they get, an early exit, they should consider cleaning house from top to bottom, including Pat Riley. Very big statement. Tell me why you said that, man. I'm interested to know.
I just feel it's time. Like, you need a new voice. You need a new, Spo's been here quite a long time. And I say this only because you can see the talent on this roster not responding, right? They're not playing like they've played in the past in terms of cohesive unit. It just looks disjointed, right? And I'm not sure if that's because Spo doesn't have the pull on the locker room anymore. If it just seems like we've been going through this and it's the same thing year in, year out now. They're good enough on paper. They came within a shot of beating Boston last year and go to the finals. But this year it just it makes you pause and think, was last year a fluke? Was 2020 a fluke? The pandemic shortened season, they're playing in the bubble. They had a good streak of 14 games where they got to the finals, and then last year, taking Boston to that final shot. And then, you have a lot of hope for this year, and things, just never materialized. And I'm just thinking maybe it's time for a new voice, man.
I mean, look, here's my problem with that. We in sports in general all the time, when things don't go our way, it's, what have you done for me lately, right? And if the answer isn't success or hell, championship in some cases, especially in Miami, because look, they're a winning franchise. You're right. They were one game away last year, and so this year, to kind of think that I have to be honest, when I read that tweet last night, my first thought was, man, that's a little extreme after being one game away. But in basketball, I think it's a lot different compared to other sports. When the run is over, the run is over.
And that's what it looks like to me. Looks like the run, like Riley's run is over. I think in my opinion, it may be time for a new voice, new direction, new leadership.
It'll be interesting nonetheless to kind of see where everybody goes. And honestly, I'm excited to see where they go and what they do with it. Just curious, do they make the playoffs?
Right now they're in the play-in game, right?
They're sitting at the 7th seed. I believe they are 1.5 games out of the 6th seed, which is you don't have to play in the play-in tournament, which is the Brooklyn Nets. So they're either going to be a play-in team, but the Bulls sitting at 10, they're going to make the play-in tournament. That much I'm pretty confident about. The question is, if you make the play-in tournament and you do happen to advance, if you're the 7 and 8, all you need to do is win one time, and you get to go to the 7th, which plays the 2, which are the Celtics. If you happen to be 8 or 9, or if you happen to be 9 or 10, you got to win twice, right? And then you get to play the Bucks. I mean, that's just it's not a good matchup either way you look at it, because both teams are really strong. Should be very interesting to kind of see where it goes. All right, let's stay in the world of basketball this weekend.
Big weekend.
Final Four. South Florida reigning king in all of college basketball. Division II champions Nova, which is awesome. And then Final Four this weekend, you have FAU and Boca. You thought Boca was a retirement community. Not no more, ladies and gentlemen. And the University of Miami, that Jim Larinaga basketball team, and absolutely amazing what's going on there.
I'm going to share something with you. See if I can do this without screwing it up. Here it is. And there is my bracket that I filled out prior to it going off. And look who I have in the championship game.
Miami.
Right there, buddy.
Where's FAU? I don't see FAU, man.
I have FAU actually winning a couple games. Look at that.
Look at you. But hey, look, let me tell you. So
the rest of this bracket.
After the second round, there were no perfect. During the second round, everybody's bracket was broke in the world.
I was reading the ESPN thing yesterday. ESPN Network, rather, on their bracket challenge.
Yeah,
20 million submissions, 37 total brackets with the correct Final Four.
37
out of 20 million.
So somebody had FAU and Miami in their and San Diego State and UConn as part of their Final Four.
37.
37. I'm sorry. I feel like that number's too high.
I know, right?
I feel like that number's way too high. Look, first game kicking off at 6:01 tip-off, San Diego State, FAU. What do you think about this game, Cameron?
Listen, FAU's been doing it all year. You know, they've been playing. They're the most disciplined team still in the tournament. They're so well coached. They don't make mistakes.
Dusty May's great.
They've got a big who's not the most athletic guy, but he's 7'1", can rebound and hit shots. They have great guard play, and they can hit the three-pointer. That's all you need, and they don't make mistakes. San Diego State is a little bit longer and athletic, but we said that about Kansas State. We said that about Tennessee. We said about all these teams that FAU beat already, including Memphis in the first round.
You're right.
So I don't count them out at all. And, man, how cool would it be for have a Hurricanes FAU championship game?
Well, according to Noob, Final Four tickets are at all-time lows, and he thinks that would be the lowest watched championship game in NCAA history. I would beg to differ. By gambling being at the height of its ever been, I feel like everybody and their brother would watch that game because of, at minimum, a gambling aspect to it, right? So,
listen, the Final Four so far they're up 27% in total viewership. You know, as much as Noob likes to be a hater, I don't see it.
He is. He's a huge hater. I agree. Look, all right. So next, after that game, about 45 minutes after that game, University of Miami, Jim Larinaga, and UConn go at each other. UConn, a very good team. I don't know if they're better than Texas was, though. So, you know, that's just my opinion. So, I mean, look, I'll think that at the end of the day, Miami's going to pull this out. That's where I'm looking at it.
Listen, I've got them in the championship game. I thought they would. UConn is playing very good right now. They're playing some really good ball. Again, they're well coached. They've been here before. They have the athletes, you know, but Miami is senior laden. They've got a head coach that has been to this before, been to Final Fours prior. You know, he's got the experience, and they're playing as a cohesive unit. I mean, I think it's an excellent Final Four. And the reasons we have these teams is more so because of NILs. It's parity because of NILs. You're getting athletes coming to these smaller schools. Like FAU has an awesome booster base that has attracted some of these players. Their point guard from Gary, Indiana. Why would he come to Boca Raton? NIL. You know, the booster Diaz down there in Miami is filling the pockets of these players as well.
FAU is one of we talk about the NIL and the, you know, things that probably need to change with it, and that there's some issues with the NIL. But FAU is a prime example of why the NIL is a good thing and why it works, because it has allowed them to get a player or two that they normally in the past never would have even had a shot to go get. And that's a great thing. And now they're getting this Cinderella run as a 9 seed. And things are pretty exciting.
Listen, last year you had Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, and Kentucky, I believe, we were Final Four, like all blue bloods, right? And you know, that's great for the game of basketball as well. But I love the fact that we have teams that, you know, not normally are there. Like, you know, FAU never won a game in the NCAA tournament. They've only been one appearance before, and now they're in the Final Four. I think that's awesome for basketball. I really do.
University of Miami making their first Final Four appearance. San Diego State They've had a run in the past, but nothing like this, in my opinion.
Exactly. They're a well-coached team too. Like it's fun to watch, and it's going to be exciting basketball. It has been the most exciting tournament from top to bottom, from 1 to 16 in terms of teams actually parity and close games. And it's been an exciting tournament to watch. It's not going to stop.
No, I totally agree with you, and I'm super excited about it every which way to Sunday. All right, let's kind of keep it moving. By the way, you predict FAU Miami championship game?
Screw it, why not? Yeah.
I'm with you, man. I'm 100% on board with you, man. All right, let's keep it moving. So we're gonna keep it moving in the world of sports. We've already gone over opening day. We've already gone on NBA playoff basketball run. We've talked college basketball. Let's get into part of the reason that we're in here today. And the two big events that I kind of want to talk about is the Lamar Jackson situation with the Ravens and the Mike McDaniel. And we'll say Mike McDaniel for the heap of the conversation. So let's dive into the Lamar. Now, people are asking, Stephen, why are you bringing this up? This isn't Dolphins. This isn't, this is Raven. I think this is football related. The whole ordeal right now, and there's a lot. I was at a barbershop yesterday, and a lot of Ravens fans, and they were asking me my opinion of it. And let me tell you, I ended up going to a church event that night, getting asked the same question about Lamar. I talked to probably 8 or 9 Ravens fans, and every last one of them said, get rid of Lamar. How dare he ask for this money? I can't believe he's a quitter. He quit on his team. Nobody wants him here. He's not that good. He's not a top quarterback. Like, you name it. They all trashed him. Every last one of them. Is that we outside looking in say, no, Lamar's a good quarterback. We know that he is. He has his hiccups. Is local media or media in general play the public perception of how this is playing out with the contract negotiation with Lamar? Because Lamar's representing himself. All 9 people I talked to yesterday said, I can't believe he's representing himself. And I think there's a good media marketing thing, tear down of he should not be representing himself. He lost out on all this money, X, Y, and Z. Nobody said that about Laramie Tunsil. I'm interested to kind of get your thought from a player perspective, the organizational perspective, and the public perception of this horror deal, because they all play a factor into this.
I mean, there's a lot to unravel there in your questions. Does the media play a role in perception? Obviously, there's a narrative out there. The ones that you just touched on, him representing himself. The others are, is he injury prone? Is he asking for too much?
Well, let's break it down. So first things first, is he asking for too much money?
Hell no.
I don't believe so either. But everybody I talk to locally here says that he is. So the local
because they don't want to, they don't want to see their star quarterback leave, right? But on the other hand, listen, we all work for a living. Like, we all want to make the most that we can make and try to, parlay our potential and our performance into the most money that we can possibly make for our families. That's all Lamar is doing. If you look at it from a business perspective, man, I hope he holds out until he gets a contract that he knows he's worth, because these players only have the opportunity to make so much money during a very small window of time in their lifetime. If you look at it big picture wise, right? There's very few quarterbacks that make that, 2 or 3 contracts at peak level, you can, and that's what Rodgers, like, it's very.
That's what I was trying to explain to some of these fans, because I had one of them that we were driving it to go get to go out to dinner, and he's telling me, he's like, oh, he makes too much money anyway. These players, nobody's worth that amount of money. And I was like, that's not what this is about. This is about what he's accomplished in his career, what his value is compared to his peers. And he's seriously been underpaid compared to those people. And he straight up ignored that, as a lot of the local Ravens fans did. They didn't want to hear that. And it kind of blew me away that, man, public, local radio, are just blasting him. They are just straight dogging Lamar that he is public enemy number one here. Could not believe how bad the public perception was here of him right now.
You know,
I thought
that's crazy. He's been the best quarterback they've had in God knows
what I said. That's what I said.
You know, and not only is he a best quarterback that Baltimore's had, he's been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL for the past 5 years. Like, there's no denying that. He's the fastest player to 100 passing yards and 4,000 rushing yards in NFL history, and by 30 games.
All right, let's talk about representing yourself. Do you think that he has hurt himself by representing himself? And why is it that some players are able to accomplish this and Lamar's having trouble with it?
There's two very separate questions with two very separate answers. You know, I've never been a fan of players representing themselves, but they absolutely can and should if they feel comfortable enough to doing it. You know, what it does, it takes out a lot of that gray area in terms of, you know, how much of the pie you're slicing up. But on the other hand, the agents know how to negotiate, know the legal ramifications of those negotiations. We don't know if he has somebody advising him. He may, and I hope he does, in terms of the legal aspects of the contract negotiations. But, you know, if a player or any person wants to negotiate their own contract, you know, more power to them. You know, so far, I don't believe it's hurt him. I think the other factors surrounding, you know, Lamar Jackson have hurt him more so than him being his own agent.
I just got your thing. I got El Capitan sending me something in Twitter about Lamar Jackson compared to. So he said career earnings: Josh Allen $85 million, Lamar Jackson $33 million. They're in the same draft class. Last 2 years since eligible for a new contract, Josh Allen $67 million, Lamar Jackson $25. He's never making up that difference. It's just sad. It really is.
But didn't Josh Allen sign an extension that bought out his final 2 years of rookie contract?
100% he did. 100%.
Yeah, so that's really an uncomparable.
And by the way, Lamar already at that, when he did that, had an NFL MVP. Josh Allen didn't.
So, like, I understand where he's coming from. I understand where he's coming from with that comment. That said, it takes two people. Like, it takes the organization to want to do this as well. You know, does anybody know that Baltimore came forth with an offer to buy out his last 2 years as a rookie deal and extend him? I don't think they did, right? He was on a franchise tag last year, right? Wasn't it? Isn't that true? This past season?
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't on. He was still playing a part of his deal, his contract deal. This is the first time he was tagged.
He's on the franchise tag.
He's on the transition tag right now.
That's right.
So all right, let's go to the team perspective on this, right? All right. I feel as an organization, just as much as it's the players, right? If they don't deem the value of what he's worth, they have every right to say, Lamar, we just don't see it. Now, I can understand he hasn't played. He's missed 8 games each the last 2 seasons. And it's tough to sit here and say.
I think it's 11 games total.
I think it was 8 and 8, man. I'm almost positive it was. Maybe I'm wrong. I can go back and look and clarify. But either way,
he's missed his last 22 games.
He's missed 10 out of his last 22 games. Okay, we're almost half of the games he's played in, he's missed. With that being said, Cameron, is the team? Give me the team perspective on this, because I feel like they have something to stand on to say, we don't want to put that money behind you because we don't know if you're going to be healthy enough to be there.
Let me ask you, did it preclude Cleveland handing Deshaun Watson the richest quarterback contract after 2 ACLs? Did it preclude Jerry Jones giving, Dak Prescott $160 million after, pretty much amputating his ankle off on the field? Like,
I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm asking the question, and I agree with you, right? So I think that the injuries don't preclude them paying at that moment, because you're right. Dak Prescott got it. Deshaun Watson got it after his 2 ACLs, and both those quarterbacks still seem to be pretty good, right? And I look at Lamar and I'm like, this is personal. This has got to be personal between the front office and the organization and Lamar. because there's no reason that I can think of compared to his peers that would justify the Ravens doing what they're doing.
So look at it from this perspective, without making it personal. They've gotten 4 years out of his rookie contract, out of an MVP level production, right? The past 22 games, he's showing, injury concerns. Whether he could have come back and played in the playoffs or not and chose not to. He's
saying he was hurt, according to his tweet.
And listen, I understand if you're not 100% and you don't want to go on the field, like, especially in a contract negotiation year, like, you can't begrudge him for protecting his asset, which is his health. Right?
Yeah. 100%.
And I think, another big reason Jackson maybe hasn't gotten a deal right now is, like, what are his options elsewhere? Atlanta? Las Vegas?
All right. So here's the other thing.
There's very few teams that need a quarterback. Indianapolis, and you've got a draft.
That's false. I disagree with that statement.
Well, hold on. But you've got a draft also with 3 to maybe 5 starting quarterbacks available. So
this is what. So I'm in the barbershop talking to a half dozen Ravens fans, and they're telling me, if he's so good, why hasn't anybody made the trade for him? I said for 2 or 3 reasons, but one of them being exactly what you just said, verbatim. I said there's 3 to 5 potential starting quarterbacks in this draft. Teams are going to wait to see what they get out of the draft before doing that, before to figure out, do I go after him? Do I spend a couple of first-round picks? Do I give him this guaranteed money? If I can go out and get a young quarterback on a rookie deal and try to I feel like that might be the better option for certain franchises. But if they miss out on those players, you best believe they might be sitting there saying, screw it. We'll just give up 2 first-round draft picks, pay him, and we'll see what we can do with Lamar.
So identify for me those teams that would be able to do that, number one, and who really have that need.
Atlanta, Carolina, Indianapolis, Jets, because the Aaron Rodgers trade has not occurred yet.
And Andres, I agree with you, man. He deserves every cent of what he's worth and more. I think Lamar definitely gets that bag, and he's earned it. But go on.
Well, so and there's probably a few other teams I can't name off the top of my head. But here's what I was. So here's where I said I totally disagree with you. I think more than a third of the NFL. I'll say, I'm sorry. I'll say maybe even almost half of the NFL do not have quarterbacks better than Lamar Jackson.
But are they in the position to acquire him?
That's true. I give you that. Okay. But I would like to think that over half the teams in the NFL, at least at minimum, have had internal discussions about, do we try to go after this? Do we pursue Lamar? And out of over half the teams in the NFL, there has to be 4 to 6 serious, they're serious considering it. And I think maybe 3 to 5 of those 6 are probably seeing, what are we going to get in the draft? So I think I said Lamar will either get dealt draft night or after that. Point blank. I believe that will be the case. Now, the last thing I kind of want to touch on with the Lamar situation. We've already talked about the team perspective. We talked about the player perspective. We talked about the player representing themselves perspective. Now I want to talk about the thought process of how the NFL, the owners, and the media kind of deal with this. Because public perception right now is that Lamar's a bad guy. And I don't think that's fair to Lamar.
Is that just public perception in Baltimore because you live in Baltimore and you hear it every day? Because I don't see that down in Miami. When I travel, I don't see it. Like, I was just in South Carolina, I didn't hear any of that negative.
Well, it's definitely in Baltimore, and so I'm biased. I'm biased on that, right? Because I turn on the sports radio station to listen about some Orioles stuff, and all I hear about how Lamar's horrible, and I can't believe that he would do this to the franchise. I walk into a barbershop, they said, oh, they should. I had legit, the guy at the barbershop goes, they should just let him sit. Let him sit out a year like Antonio Brown. I was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I was like, do you know why Detroit has been in purgatory for 20 years? Because they let Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson sit instead of trading them for assets. Because they were so personal. They took it so personal. It's a business, and it works both ways.
How did you feel when Jason Taylor went to the New York Jets?
I hated it, but I understood I knew exactly what the Dolphins screwed Jason Taylor. And the Jets said, hey, here's a door. We'll let you do whatever. And here's a ridiculous 1-year deal.
But my point is that you don't want to see your guys that you grow up loving and have a great career with your hometown team move on to the rival or move on to any other team. You just don't want to see it.
But it kind of transitioned into the Tua conversation because I said, you know what? I was saying to the guys with the Ravens fans about Lamar. I said, you know what? We deal with this as Tua fans or as Dolphin fans with Tua, because I would say there's a split majority of a split fan base on the perception of Tua. But outside of the NFL, I don't believe that that's the case. Personally, the national public perception of him.
No, I go everywhere else in the country, and they're like, man, like Tua's great. Like the people in Chicago were like, man, you've got a great quarterback. Justin Fields, he's a runner, but man, you've got a good, passer. Like, so they were kind of envious. But my point is, and to support what you were saying, is that the media drives so much narrative locally, right? And it is so true. Like these owners manipulate that, right? And we can go into the whole collusion conversation with Lamar, which I clearly think there is some collusion.
I agree. El Capitan says, Stephen, the Baltimore media machine, and remember, these owners are good billionaires. They have put into action to tarnish the name of Lamar to better help their fan base losing him.
100%. 100%. The owners need the fans, right? Like any player in this league is replaceable at some point, but the owners need the fans in the seats. So, the trade-off is that you've got your marquee player, Lamar Jackson, who's clearly the face of the franchise in Baltimore.
Yep.
And yet the media locally is now turned against him. Like, that's so peculiar just because he wants a new contract. Like, it's not like they didn't know this was coming for the past 2-3 years.
Well, Bashotti's not stupid, and neither is Eric DeCosta or Ozzie Newsome. Like, they're very smart individuals. They know how this is played out. I believe
but they all get their checks signed by the same guy. Listen,
Steve Bisciotti. I agree. And by the way, Bisciotti has more of an input than we think that he does. And I think that's true for any owner with their teams, right? Or I would say majority of their owners with their teams. But with that being said, just to kind of, last touch on this, what do you think is the ultimate, what do you think will ultimately happen with the Lamar Jackson situation?
A draft trade, a draft day blockbuster.
Yeah, I think so too. I would love to see it on draft night, not just on draft day. I'd love to see it draft night happen. But I could totally see that too. You think it'll be for more than 2 first-round picks?
No.
Okay. And then wherever he goes, he'll get paid what he wants.
Correct.
I agree. I think you're spot on, man. That is definitely spot on.
Do you think there's potential for that to happen in Miami?
Well, I mean, hey, let's kind of segue, right? So the answer to that is no. And the answer to that is I don't want it at all as well. I'll be honest with you. I said this yesterday on the show, and this is kind of a good segue into the Mike McDaniel interview. I believe that the Dolphins are going to be one of the best football teams next year in the NFL. Like, it's not even going to be. We are seeing this team is already, in my opinion, the best team I've probably seen in the last 20 years on paper. And we saw glimpses of it last season. And I think it's only going to get better this season. And I said that as we were getting off the air. That was one of my final thoughts yesterday. This will be one of the best teams in the NFL. You guys have no idea how good this team's going to be. And then the Mike McDaniel interview comes out with Mike Silver yesterday. And he says, quote, unquote, we're sitting on a gold mine. And I believe that Tua is the guy to best run Mike McDaniel's offense. And I'm sold. And I was already sold before the interview. The interview didn't have to sell me. I've been sitting here preaching it on my channel for months. For months. I understand the caveat of his health. I get it. But, man, Mike McDaniel, so you listened to some of it, I assume, correct?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, man. Let me ask you first. What were your first impressions of the interview?
So there's just like any other Mike McDaniel interview. Like, he's very candid and forthright. I think he's very good at spinning a positive story, but also giving you really good information where, you know, in years past, Flores wasn't like that. Gase wasn't like that. Just over the past two coaches, but they had a lot of things, you know, to the vest. I think that is a direction the team has given their coaching staff and any media person who speaks to the media to be more transparent, right? I think it only builds trust with the fan base. And, you know, it leaves a lot of speculation out. There's still plenty of speculation, but at least with McDaniel, you know, he answers with thought and perspective on each of the questions that he's asked. And that's all we can ask for as fans.
So for those of you who haven't heard it yet, yesterday on it was released a video, a Mike Silver columnist for the NFL released a hour-long interview that he did at the owners' meetings in Phoenix. And it was with Mike McDaniel. And they went and talked about a lot of stuff. And there was some really good stuff in there. And there was some stuff that I was like, oh, my God. All right, let me just go to the next topic. What I will say, there were some things that stood out. The very first thing that stood out, and I kind of want to break this interview down, is he said, you know, I'm sitting in there with scouts and front office, and we're having this big meeting about what we need to do to make this team better. And he's like, I got all these scouts telling me we need to spend money on the offensive line and free agency. We need to spend money on the offensive line and free agency. And he's like, all right. So I leave that meeting, and I'm thinking to myself, no, that's not what we need to do. So I just want to break that one sentence down right there. He did not think that the Dolphins needed to spend huge money in free agency on an offensive line. Did anybody else catch that?
Yeah.
And what were your thoughts on just that alone?
That thought process, and if it carries through, and I'll say this because there's still time to get. There's still talented free agents out there. There's the draft. There's also going to be cuts still made after the June 1st deadline, and there's trade possibilities. Mm-hmm. I'm saying this as a fan who looks at our offensive line as the most important piece of this puzzle, because if you have identified Tua as being the golden child and the one to lead this team, you got to keep that guy upright because of the reasons we saw last year. And this offense is predicated on, you know, a tight pocket and him getting the ball out quickly. If he's not healthy because your offensive line is like Swiss cheese, you're going to die by that sword or live by that sword. And listen, if they're not doing things to improve the offensive line over what happened last year, if you're banking on the development of Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg to be your, you know, improvements on this offensive line, how does that make you feel as a fan? Because for me, it doesn't instill a lot of confidence.
It doesn't. Which is why I wanted to bring it up. It was the first thing that called out to me in it. And now I'm glad he ended up going into more detail as we were going, because I'm like, okay, I see why he thought that process. But he just views I will say this: McDaniel views things a hell of a lot differently than anybody else does that I've kind of heard.
Listen, there's opportunity in this draft of where they sit in with 51, 74, and then a couple picks in the 7th round, I think. Especially at pick 51. Like if they go out and get a center, I can't with Noob this morning because I was expecting Noob to get all over my shit. But if they draft a center or a guard, or any offensive line help, and there's going to be help available at 51, then I can be good with it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
None of the free agent signings that they made on the offensive line has lit a fire under us saying, oh my God, we're good now.
Nothing about Dan Feeney and his mullet excites me except his mullet. That's it.
And he went to Indiana. Yeah, I mean, they re-signed the guy that was a practice squad guy. I can't remember his name. Started the last game of the year for us. It's the Brandon Shell is still out there, who really had a decent season.
I was very surprised the Dolphins haven't gone after him yet or brought him back in because I felt like he played very well, and I'm interested to kind of see what happens with that there. But here's what I'll say: it was the very first thing that spoke to me in the interview. I didn't think that. I've always felt that the Dolphins, just in general, watching successful NFL teams, I was always like, nobody questions their offensive line. Good teams, their offensive lines are not in peril. They're not in question. And it has been that way with this franchise for 20 years.
And to your point, look what Cincinnati and Kansas City both did this offseason.
Yep. By the way, Cincinnati's done it 2 years in a row. Cincinnati went out the prior season, went and got 3 brand new offensive linemen. They didn't like it. And when they got 2 of them, yeah. And went and redid the same thing this offseason. They're like, no, that didn't work. All right, we'll do it again now. Now, with that being said, Cincinnati they've only seen a Super Bowl appearance, right? That's it.
I mean, that's a lot more than what the Dolphins have.
You're correct about that.
You say that laughing, but wouldn't you want to be that team?
I want to be in a Super Bowl. Yes, I want to win a Super Bowl.
Okay, yes. So then you see,
but I think the X factor in there is Burrow. To be fair, right? But
don't even open up that can of worms.
I'm not opening up that can of worms. But I'll say this to go for. Let's kind of go into the conversation a little bit more of what he did with the silver. So he goes on to say, I'm sitting there and I'm watching game film and I see this particular route or a particular throw happen from a wide receiver. And he goes on to say an average NFL quarterback makes that throw 1 to 2 times a year. I was only through 20 or 30. He was only through a portion of it, and he had already seen 7 of them. And he's like, there's something here. He ends up watching over 700 plays in a night, which I thought was crazy and awesome all at the same time. Right?
Wait, you don't do that, Steven?
Oh, I mean, no, I don't. Are you kidding me? but I respect the craft. I respect the dedication to it, right? And he said he called up people at midnight on the phone. Because he realized he's seen all this, and he's like, I don't know why everybody's freaking out. We are sitting on a gold mine. This guy is it. He can run the offense that I want to run, and he can run it better than anybody else I really want to run it. And he's not, throughout his whole career, had anybody to back him up. And we'll get into that in a minute. But the first thing is he watched over 700 plays, and he knew this is the guy to take me to where we want to go. We can win with this guy. He's not okay. He's really good. He's great. And he sees that in him. And he's not bullshitting you. He's not trying to sell you from the standpoint of he's trying to sell them because of the perception of him at the moment, but he's not trying to sell you from the standpoint of, guys, I'm telling you, he is. Here's proof. Look at these 700 plays. And so for me, that said a lot about him, that I can sit here and tell you till I'm blue in the face, or I can show you what I am trying to institute, and here's the reason why Tua is the best person for this.
I think there's no disputing that and how they've given Tua every confidence in the world that he's the man, right?
Yep.
At
least this year.
Publicly saying it from, just after the season, saying that he's our quarterback moving forward, to extending him in his 5th-year option. I get all that, and I agree. It goes back to the point, and it could be like just fan skepticism. What have they done to solidify the offensive line, which wasn't that great last year? And so that's where our skepticism as fans rises from. And that's all I'm saying is like, and I also agree, like, there's still time to shore up the offensive line, right? There's still a lot of times an opportunity to get help on the offensive line if they choose to. So, did it happen right away in free agency? No. Going back to, Pete's take, I think, said something about they went out and got Jalen Ramsey instead. Well, if you look at the defense last year, we had to outscore a lot of teams, 30 points, giving up 30 points a game, what have you. Mm-hmm. The fact that Byron Jones wasn't playing and injured, and we started an undrafted free agent rookie, and then they went out and got Jalen Ramsey to shore up that, that defense, that it will get better because of it. And they'll have Chubb for a full year. And we haven't even spoken about it. Went out and hired Vic Fangio. So it was clear the defense, last year, and there's going to be a lot of detractors to say what I'm saying, because Tua wasn't on the field for 5 games, but for the games that he was on, you could say the defense really needed to be improved first and foremost for this team to be a playoff caliber team, a legitimate playoff caliber team. And for us as fans, we see the offensive line, but we forget about the defense because, we have Xavier Howard and Christian Wilkins, but it wasn't that great last year.
So J.R. Black says, Stephen, please explain to that McDaniel's just explaining the story from last year, not that he rewatched another 700. If people took the time to watch, they would know this. Yes. So he's saying the story of his first few days in the building as the head coach last year. He's saying, I sat down, I got acclimated, and then I started watching game film. And then I started watching more game film. And then I'm like, holy shit, this guy's what? What? This guy's it. He watches 700 plays over a span of 8 hours, calls up 2 or 3 people at midnight, then proceeds to call back the GM that he had already called and said, hey, we need to have a staff meeting at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. I want everybody there. And out of the 700 plays, then shows them 150 to 200 of them. And he says, I can sit here for a lot more hours and show you every single one of these. Do you understand that Tua is the guy to run the offense that I want to run? You guys brought me here because of the offense that I want to run. I'm telling you, there's no better quarterback in the NFL to run this offense than Tua Tagovailoa at the moment that we have access to, that we can go get. I'm not saying he's better than Patrick Mahomes. I'm saying that he is the best quarterback to run the offense that I want to run that we have available to us. And not only that,
is that an argument right now?
I mean, to some in the fan base, but I'll also go in, but I know that people will say, well, that's because they didn't try to. No, with the exception of maybe 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the NFL, right? Tua Tagovailoa is the guy that McDaniel wants running that offense that he has installed. And not that he's just the best available on the team. He's the best in the league on this team. And he even said that. He's like, he's not just one of the best quarterbacks in the he's not just the best quarterback in the room. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league if this is done correctly. And so the other thing that I thought was really interesting about this is he starts explaining, he's like, so I sit down with Tua and I show him this. And Mike Silver's reaction is, what was Tua's reaction like? And he's like, he didn't know how to take a compliment. He said it was the most extreme case. Listen to me. It was the most extreme case of anybody he's encountered of somebody who didn't know how to take a compliment. I think that spoke words, because he verbatim said, because Tua had only encountered constructive criticism, extreme constructive criticism. So everybody has a way of coaching. And I'm not saying that Flores is wrong in his way of coaching. It's his way. But it wasn't right with Tua, and he didn't get the most out of him. And so you ended up, the Dolphins could have, by the way, I think the Dolphins made 100% the right choice of getting rid of Flores and bringing in McDaniel and having McDaniel see this in Tua, and now Tua believing in him. But he had to kind of reteach him everything. And he goes on to say about the Tyreek Hill and pumping him up. He said, I showed Tyreek Hill this. And I showed him, by the way, he's showing him plays from the offense of when Flores was there. Not last year. Again, this is his first few days in the building. That's why Tyreek said he's the most accurate passer in the NFL, because he said, I showed him other quarterbacks in the NFL how they do this compared to Tua. Tua is the most accurate passer in the NFL compared to other people. You guys want me to sit here. So I know I get claimed as the professional flip-flopper. That's fine. That's fair. And you're right. I'm easily convinced about if you're able to explain something to me with reason, I can listen to reason. I can listen to if you have facts to support your theory or you have evidence to support what you're trying to bring to the forefront, I'll listen to it. And I can be easily swayed from that standpoint. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm not. But let's get something straight. I've been saying this for a year and a half now. It's not that McDaniel swayed me in this interview. He further confirmed to me that Tua is that guy. He's that guy. This Mike McDaniel is the guy that is going to take this football team to that next level. And I'll get into the Fangio stuff here in a minute. But from an offensive standpoint, I'm convinced on everything that we are going to be one of the best teams in the NFL last year. I said it yesterday, and I'm glad that interview came out after I said it, because I don't want people saying, you're just saying that because, no, I was saying this yesterday. And all he is doing is confirming how I feel.
But shouldn't that be the expectation of our team as a fans, like especially through the progression of a rookie quarterback to where he is now? You know, and they added to the defense with Jalen Ramsey and a couple other signings, you know, to improve this team, including a defensive coordinator. Shouldn't that be the expectation of us as a fan? Like, we want to see our quarterback that was drafted in the first round with a 5th overall pick to be our franchise quarterback, and now he's entering in his 5th year. We need him to be that man. Shouldn't that be our expectation? And to have a coach that really gives, you know, is sounding confident in that expectation, that's what we should expect out of our coach, shouldn't it be?
I agree. Here's why Dolphins fans, in my opinion, okay, this is not the gospel, this isn't the end all be all, this is my opinion. Dolphin fans don't know how to act towards this because they've never seen it, Cameron. They've never seen it. And the last time they did see it was with Marino. That was 25 plus years ago. Marino ain't here no more. He's upstairs watching the game with Ross. And for the last 25 years, we have had a parade, a litany, a revolving door of quarterbacks come through this franchise, a revolving door of head coaches come through this franchise. We've had 8 or 7 different GMs running the show. And now we finally get what we've all asked for. Everybody on the same page, everybody believing everybody, and fans don't know how to act. Because, and here's the honest to God truth, and I had this revelation last night.
Just last night?
Because for a long time I was like, I'm not blaming Flores for anything. I'm going to blame Flores for this. Flores, by doing what he did, put it into the heads of some of the fan base that Tua was not the guy. before even all the injury stuff was probably at the forefront. We all question it from the college standpoint. Don't get it twisted. But I 100%, and by the way, that's not just the fans, that's people in the organization. There's a reason he called a staff meeting at 8 a.m. after that, because he had to show the rest of the organization, guys, we're not questioning about the quarterback here. Here's why.
Let me ask you something, Steven. And the chat brings up a very good point. Everyone agrees Marino's the greatest quarterback in this Dolphins franchise.
Love him. Yep.
If Tua takes this franchise to the Super Bowl and wins the Super Bowl,
he's better than Marino. I hope everybody slanders me in the chat. If Tua takes us to a Super Bowl, and win it, he automatically goes ahead of Marino. Automatically. They'll have a Super Bowl ring.
It's March 30th, 2023 at 10:54 p.m. Guys, download this YouTube channel and the Clock Blockers and bookmark this point.
Yep. If Tua wins a Super Bowl with the Miami Dolphins, he automatically becomes the best quarterback in franchise history. That includes Greasy, who won 2, and that includes Dan Marino, who won 0. I love Dan. He's the reason I'm a fan. He's the reason I do this YouTube channel. Love the man. I hyperventilated the first time I saw him. I cried. Do you know who you are? You're Dan Marino. The laces were in. They were in. But I'm telling you right now, if Tua wins a Super Bowl with the Miami Dolphins, he automatically becomes the best quarterback in franchise history. Automatically. What did you just show me?
Noob trolling.
Chicago Cup lineup for Noob.
He's trolling me on Twitter.
Upside Fishing says you're snorting on your own hopium now. You're tripping, dude. You're going too far.
Listen, but it's true. Listen, it's true in this perspective. As fans, we should expect a Super Bowl. We've had the most continuity that we've had since
we're not friends no more
in a very long time. And so, as fans, like, you can't help but drink the Kool-Aid. You know what? And someone's, it's crazy to say this. Like, so Lamar's been an MVP. To twist it back to Lamar, he's been an MVP. He's done things that no other quarterback has done in the first 4 years of the league. But yet, you don't want to pay him? Like, that guy needs to be paid. Dan Marino just tweeted, huh?
Ah, man. Look,
catching up there.
I think it's funny that I like the point that you just brought up, that your question, right? Isn't this what the fan base should want? Isn't what this fan base should want in a head coach and a quarterback and in the players that surround the quarterback?
And a GM who you can say for, he's struck out on some offensive line picks and what have you, but he's also drafted some very good players, and he's gone out and got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey the past 2 years. So, as a GM, like, how can you, as a fan, how can you not love that?
I agree. PJ Max says somebody must have upped your hopium dosage, Steven. Bro, I am high on my own supply of hopium. I am not mad about it, cuz. Let's go. But it's not even just hope. Here's the other thing, guys. I can sit there with my own. So somebody asked me, I had somebody text me yesterday, and they go, Steven, you should do an all 22 on Tua or whatever. And I said, and I wrote back and I said, guys, I'm not the film guy. Like, you want to go to film, go to Reason. He's great with it. Go to Doug. Doug does pretty good, all 22. Super Bowl wins is a team accomplishment, not a quarterback one, especially if it's a mediocre quarterback like Tua, aka Brad Johnson. Look, here's the reality of the situation. If anybody wins a Super Bowl for this mediocrity of a franchise called the Miami Dolphins that's been mediocre for 25 plus years, they automatically get the crown. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can't believe you would even speak that nonsense. Your hopium has gone too far. Shame I even supported this nonsense. Shout out for the $5 donation. Cam, end the stream, please. So anyways, I said, God, I knew I was going to get killed for that. You set me up, Cameron. You knew what you were doing. I don't care, though. I stand by my statement. I stand by
that's true. Listen, I'm not disagreeing with you, Steven. Like, I'm just, I'm just.
You're not agreeing with it. You're not shouting at the top of the rooftops from it either.
I think I just did as much as I possibly can as a fan. Like, as a fan, this is what we want. Like, this is since I've been a ticket holder in 2007, like, this is probably the best team that's been assembled in Miami. So how can I not be excited?
I'm excited. I'm super excited. But to go back to, and I appreciate you saying that, because the narrative's going to definitely be today. Steven said Tua was a better quarterback than Marino. I said, no, if Tua wins a Super Bowl, he will automatically become a better quarterback than Marino. But with that being said, I said, I don't break down film. I don't break down film. And I say all that because I don't claim to be smarter than anybody else in the community. I don't claim to be this football. I played football in high school. I was recruited a little bit to play at small-time colleges, but that's as far as it went, right? That's as far as it went. It just was not. I love football, and I've watched it every day since I was a child. And then I played it. Youth, middle school, high school, didn't go to college and play. I can admit all that. There are some people in the community that's gone to college and played. Some people that have played semi-pro football. I will tell you, there was a semi-pro team here in Baltimore that I was the team president of for about 3 months until it folded in the first 3 months.
Good
not because of
you are.
Not because of me, because the owner was scamming people and got in trouble for doing it at his former business and ended up getting indicted on charges. So, that's why he probably took me as the team president, but neither here or there. Okay. I will tell you this. I love football, but I'm not the film guy. I say all that to say this. My eye test is a lot of my perception, my viewpoint, my opinion. And I can only go based on what I see. But I also listen to everything. I listen to press conferences. I listen to fan perceptions. I listen to players. I do try to read in between the lines times. You're team president of 2 ears. But I will say this. Tua has had something that I don't even think, if you're asking me who the best quarterback post Marino is, the first one that comes to the top of my head is Chad Pennington. Right? Chad Pennington, I think, is the best quarterback post Dan Marino for the Dolphins.
Not Jay Fiedler?
Not that. It might be a toss-up maybe, but Pennington for me was it, right? Tua by far and away is light years ahead of Pennington, and is not even close. Not even close. And I don't know I know what it'll take for the team to look, for the fans to view the team in a different light, and that is winning playoff games. Winning playoff games. Okay? And it's got to be multiple, not just one. And that was some of what he said during his interview for 30 minutes at the owners' meetings, or the press conference at the owners' meeting. He's like, I've already made the playoffs. Cool, done. Don't want to do that no more. Now the goal is not just doing that. It's not just winning a playoff game. It's winning multiple playoff games.
For sure.
The Dolphins, let me ask you, Cameron, you're just a couple years older than me. Just a couple. Just a few. Is this not the best team since the early 90s that you've seen?
No. I think the offense in 2016 was better and
What?
was really good. And the defense in 2012, I believe, or 10 was exceptional under Dom Capers.
You said that offense in 2016 was better than this offense?
No, just the best I've seen since.
Okay. All right, that's fair. Would you? How would you stack up the 2016 to those mid 90s, that 92?
But as a complete team, I agree with you. That's the best team that we've had on paper.
All around, hands down.
Going into the regular season, like going into training camp, it's the best team we've had on paper. There's still questions for me surrounding, linebacker play and offensive line. First and foremost is the offensive line. We don't need an alpha running back. That's been proven. Like Mostert and Wilson, I'm good with. I still think there could be an opportunity for another running back to join the team, whether it's in the draft or a trade. I think our quarterback has the opportunity to be exceptional. He's showing that in a limited amount of games that he can be that guy, but he's got to stay upright. And how do you keep him upright and healthy? You invest in the offensive line.
KP says that's fair, Stephen. You have the right to like who you like. You just can't force your view on others. I'm not forcing my view. I'm just telling you my view.
Yeah, no one's forcing you to like.
I don't think anybody's on my channel. I'm not. I know I'm not on my channel.
You can turn the channel off if you want. Go.
By the way, I love KP. KP's my guy. I love Kerry P. But
yeah,
I'm not forcing nobody. I'm telling you what I think. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. What do we got? Only 34 likes, over 120 of y'all in the building. Hit the like button, man. Help me out. Hit the like button. If y'all want to donate to the channel, help the channel grow. Now it is your time to tell me how wrong you think I might be, or your viewpoint, or whatever it is you want to yell at me or complain to me about, because I'm dropping the link to bring you guys on one at a time for y'all to tell me how horrible of a person I might be.
What I
said about the great Dan Marino, who I love. Just want to throw that out there. I'm blaming Cameron.
Ricky and Ronnie was pretty fun to watch too.
Ricky and Ronnie was very fun to watch, but
Brandon Marshall leading the league in receiving yards was pretty cool too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, there was no, but I think Tyreek Hill passed that. Yeah.
I'm saying he led the league the year he did.
KP says that's fair, Steven, but the behavior of radical two-and-ears does border on bullying.
And vice versa, man. The 2-and-9s are like bully bitches too. Like there's just, and I'll call it like this, man. They're just passionate about their point of views.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like
people got on today, boy. They're like, they lined up to tell me how wrong I am this morning.
Finn Daddy.
All right, we'll bring in Big Dougie B first. What's up, Big Dougie B?
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, man.
Okay. Never know these days. Hey, look, I just have a question. I asked it in the chat, but I don't think you saw it. If McDaniel were to lead these Finns to 3 Super Bowl wins, does that make him better than Shula?
I mean, yeah, I guess it would if he gets 3 Super Bowl wins. But can we get to 1 first, Big Dougie B?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But the whole thing with Marino is, Marino will always go down, as to me anyway, as the greatest quarterback ever. I mean, Tua can have a fantastic Super Bowl winning Hall of Fame career. I still think Marino would be the best ever. I think Marino suffered mainly from poor defenses in Miami. They never really had a great defense in Miami, except for in '84. The defense was on the downhill in '85, and it is what it is. I think Marino today, if things were different today, we'd be talking about Marino as one of the best quarterbacks. The fact that he's won so many Super Bowls. So
It's a fair question, and I would say McDaniel would surpass him because if this franchise, number one, if this franchise wins 3 Super Bowls, Stephen D his head's going to blow off his shoulders. Number two,
you ain't never going to shut me up if Tua wins 3 Super Bowls, cuz. Never.
He said the franchise. He didn't say Tua.
Like,
he said McDaniel.
He was the guy.
He said McDaniel, not Tua.
Okay, well, still, I don't care.
But I just want to say, hey, go Cubbies.
Go Cubs.
Boo.
Yeah, man. No, go Cubs.
Hey, let me ask you, have you ever been to an opening day?
Have I ever been to an opening day?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have ever been to an opening day.
You gotta go to an opening day.
The closest it would have been, I can't remember, but when I was stationed in San Diego during the early 80s Padres, I might have been, but I can't remember.
Well, look, man, it's one of the best times of the year. Even if you're not a baseball fan, you got to go to an opening day in baseball. It's absolutely amazing. All right, Big Dougie D, I love you, man. Thank you for coming out.
Take care.
Bro.
You guys have a great weekend.
All right, man. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Get in where you fit in. Next up, Von Joe, a.k.a. Spawn Joe.
What's up, Batman?
Joe?
First of all, I like the fact that you pardon me. Good morning.
Good morning.
I like the fact that you endured all my comments, Stephen and Cameron.
I would never do something.
I shouted you out when you first said hello, Cameron. I liked it.
Because Stephen ignored my comments specifically about our Super Bowl conversation about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
After all the bloviating.
I'm all ear. I'm definitely this year, but I'm all ear. I'm listening to you now. You have my full undivided attention.
You're on the clock.
After all this bloviating that you did, right? You still don't say Super Bowl expectations are not it? That's what you're telling me.
I'm not saying what I am telling you.
No. Steven said making it to the Super Bowl shouldn't be an expectation.
No, what Cameron, what I said was, I said AFC Championship game would be an expectation. But I'm not going to be disappointed if we don't make a Super Bowl. Like I'm gonna, or no, the better saying is I won't consider it a failure if we don't win a Super Bowl. I'll be disappointed, I'll be sad, but I won't consider it a failure of a season.
Hold on.
If we make the AFC Championship game, that's a successful season.
And it's a failure if we don't make the Super Bowl after making this AFC Championship game.
No, it's a failure if we don't make the Super Bowl this year, I said.
No, but I agree with you, Vanjo. Like if we make AFC Championship game and we lose, man, I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, but what if we lose in a freak way like Buffalo did to Kansas City?
And L's and
it doesn't matter.
Stop
giving excuses.
But it's any given Sunday. Football team.
But that's the beauty of the game, right? It's any given Sunday. I'm going to be disappointed if we lose on that any given Sunday, regardless if it's.
Listen, it is a failure.
Or the
Thank you, Cameron, for coming on here and having sense, please. Thank you. I appreciate you. You should come out. You should be here more often. Secondly,
fine, I'll just leave. You two want to have a moment.
You sit right there, sir. Come back on
here. We did, Vanjo.
So, secondly, hold on. You need to get ready for this one, Steven, because I kind of went off on Tua yesterday, right?
You did. Oh, you missed it yesterday. Dude, I don't want to hear you flirt. I don't want to hear you flirt.
Hold on. Get ready for it, Steven. That Super Bowl comment? God damn it, I agree with you, damn it.
What?
I agree with you.
If Tua
wins it all, he's better than Marino, damn it. I don't care what anybody
you really
say.
agree? Are you trolling me?
No, I am dead serious. I said this 2 months ago on a space. Lewis, Batman could confirm this. I sat there and said, listen, Marino had great individual accomplishments better than Tua. But team-wise, if he wins a Super Bowl, team-wise, he is better than Dan Marino because Dan Marino never gave us a Super Bowl. So in Dolphin lore, Tua is better than Dan Marino. Case closed, final. This is not up for discussion.
I agree. I don't
care about individual records. Records could come and fall, but if you bring a Lombardi to Miami, must be crazy.
Yo, sir, it's all about number one, cuz.
Actually, at the end of the day, it's the logo over everything.
Everything.
And if y'all don't understand that, I can't help you.
And by the way, I know that I'm a huge fan of Tua. I do love Tua, right? I can admit that. But I am logo over everything. If Tua were to ever leave, I'd be disappointed. I'd be sad. I'd be upset. But I'd be like, all right.
Kanye shrug.
I would be like, what's the next move? What are we doing to win a Super Bowl? Okay.
Might happen on draft day, Steven.
Huh?
Might happen on draft day.
No, never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. All right. Is there anything else, Sponjo, that you'd like to bring up before I?
No,
let
that's
you go?
all. You guys have a lovely day. I got to get back to work anyway. Love you all. Fins up.
Good to see you, Sponjo.
Take care,
My man.
I love it, man. All right, let me bring on Mr. Negative. What's up, Mr. Negative?
How you going? How's it going, Steven?
Pretty good, man. I'm getting killed in the chat today. People are killing me.
Negative, how you doing, bro?
You are kind of, you're calling out the best player in Miami Dolphins.
I knew what I was. I mean, I was set up by Cameron. Cameron set me up with that.
Regardless, Steven, okay, so here's my thing on that, right? Marino, again, Tua will never be a better quarterback than Marino. And here's why. He'll be fortunate if he wins the Super Bowl, it will be because he has a better team. I can go down the list of defensive players that Tua has, and I can remember Jay Brophy, I can remember John Bosa and Jackie Shipp, and those are the kind of guys Marino had on defense. Paul Langford. He didn't have guys like Xavier Howard, Jalen Ramsey, and all these guys. Marino was the Miami Dolphins. He carried that team to the playoffs. He's the only reason they ever made the playoffs because the team was trashed most of those years. Shula drafted awful. He was a poor GM. He couldn't draft. He could not build a defense. He could not build a running game. That's what Shula's flaw was. He was the reason Marino never won a Super Bowl. If we got to blame somebody, we blame Don Shula. For as great as he was, you don't win with the greatest quarterback of all time. You are not the greatest head coach of all time. That goes to Bill Belichick. Sorry, had to say it. But again, if Tua wins a Super Bowl, it won't be because of Tua. It will be because the team around.
Wrong.
Tua is a Trent Dilfer or a Brad Johnson. That's what he is.
I need Lewis's soundbite to say cap.
Listen, why are we propping this man up? But McDaniel already does it. I'm sure McDaniel has it written in his contract. Every time he praises Tua, he gets a $100,000 bonus. Every time he praises Tua, you're the greatest. We live on a gold mine with you. Go take your karate classes. We're going to be awesome. There's nothing you can't do. You can walk on water. You can fly with a cape. Tua, you are the man. We'll give you the key to the city. It's just so – I can't believe – the amount of Kool-Aid drinking McDaniel expects me to do as a fan to believe.
I don't know about you, but Kool-Aid is delicious. You better not talk any trash about Kool-Aid, Mr. Negative.
I was done 10 years ago, maybe 15, drinking Dolphins Kool-Aid. I don't drink it anymore. I never will. It's a bunch of just buffoonery for me to drink their Kool-Aid. Chris Greer, Stephen Ross, all those guys, I will never drink it again, ever. They have lied to me. They have disappointed me. They have kicked me in the rear. They have pulled the rug out from under me too many times. I will never, ever trust that organization until they prove to me that things are different. Win a Super Bowl. I'm tired of all the excuses. I'm tired of well, this didn't go our way. Well, we had too many injuries over here. Well, Chris Greer, guess what? You signed injury-plagued players. What do you expect is going to happen? They're going to get injured. That's what's going to happen. Terron Armstead never been healthy a season in his career, a whole season. That's fact.
Mr. Negative, let me ask you a question. Are you a fan of any other sport?
Yes, I love hockey. I love baseball.
Okay. Who's your baseball team? I'm glad you said baseball. Who's your baseball team?
Chicago White Sox.
All right.
Oh, boo.
Chicago. All right. So Chicago, before they won their World Series in the last 10 years, whatever it was. Okay.
They won in 2005.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was over 10 years now at this point.
Yeah, a lot longer than that.
Okay. There were plenty of summers, though, that there were some really fun Chicago White Sox teams to watch, right?
That's debatable.
I would say in the early 90s.
Okay. All right. But you remember those teams, and you had faith, you had optimism, you had hope. Hey man, we're 1 or 2 players away, we're a couple
Even
of
I
pieces
trash the
away.
Chicago White Sox as much as I trash the Dolphins.
Okay,
I trash the Montreal Canadiens.
what I'm trying to explain to you is this: the ultimate success is a Super Bowl, right? We all want that.
Yeah.
But I believe, my opinion, that we're on the right track. And as a matter of fact, hold on, Mr. Negative. I'll debate anybody that our team has never been more on the right track than it's been since the early 90s or mid 90s.
Why do you believe this, Steven?
Well, I believe this for number one. I have a offensive minded head coach who gave me a top 10 offense for the first time since 1994, 1995, something like that.
So Steven,
I also believe, hold on, I'm not done.
Okay.
I also had a quarterback last year who took this huge monumental step forward in his career, all while playing at an MVP type level. I know people argued with me about 70% yesterday. Fine, I'll say 60. So over half the league year, he played at an MVP type level for over half the season. Now, I'm not here to talk about the negatives. I'm not here to talk about the caveats, although I bring it up every time. I get his health. I understand he's not been a December man yet. I'd like to see Tua become Mr. December. We got Mr. October and Reggie Jackson. We got Mr. November and Derek Jeter. Let Tua become Mr. December. I'm all about it, okay? Now, with that being said, Mr. Negative, what I would like you to inform you and the rest of the Kool-Aid hating people out there is that you should be drinking this Kool-Aid, number one, because it's purple. Purple is absolute. I mean, it's aqua. Kool-Aid is absolutely amazing. But besides that, it's the best this team has looked on offense for the past 20 plus years. And the defensive coordinator is one of the best defensive coordinators in the game. How can you not be excited? All while we have great players on the defensive side of the ball like Christian Wilkins, Xavier Howard, Jalen Ramsey, Jalen Phillips, Javon Holland.
We had these guys last year, Steven.
I get, and a crappy coordinator.
Other than Jalen Ramsey, we had those same guys last year, okay? And that defense got absolutely torched. Now, unless Vic Fangio is going to suit up, put on pads, and go on the field. Oh, my God, Mr. Negative. I don't see the big, like wins above replacement when you have a defensive coordinator. This is not we don't have the Baltimore Ravens 2000 defense. We don't have the Chicago Bears 85 defense. We are not a generational defense. We don't even have a pass rush. We can't generate an organic pass rush. Until I see it, I don't believe it. Our linebackers leave a lot to be desired. Jerome Baker is not good. He's overpaid and he's average.
He led the team in tackles for 3 years. And by the way, let's get something straight.
It doesn't matter when you tackle someone 10 yards downfield.
He's not even. I have never once since the last few months been calling out people on defense said Jerome Baker's name. He's number 12th or 15th, maybe even 19th or 20th on the list of great people on defense. He doesn't even come in the top 10.
Okay.
Mr. Negative.
You feel this team.
Mr. Negative, I love me some Brock Marion. I love me some Patrick Surtain. I love me some Sam Madison.
Steven, how did you feel after Adam Gase's first season when he went 10-6 and made the playoffs? How did you feel about him?
I had optimism. I had hope. I was excited.
Why?
To see the future.
And then how did you feel after Adam Gase?
Because we had made the playoffs, and
right,
I was excited to see the course of this team.
We crown these coaches way too soon. Why are we crowning?
I'm not crowning McDaniel on anything yet.
You just
I am telling you I'm excited. I'm telling you I have faith in this guy.
After one season.
Why not?
He finished 9-8, the same as Flores. With
you know what Adam Gase, Mr. Negative, you know what Adam Gase didn't give me his first year? A top 10 offense.
Yeah, and where did that lead us the years after that?
I'm just telling you, I got it this year. I got it this year.
Steven, we went nowhere after that. That's my point. That's my point. That's why I
Cameron,
won't drink this
Cameron,
Kool-Aid.
please help me.
That's why I won't drink this Kool-Aid, because it's the same thing over and over and over again. This franchise, when you up at the top have Stephen Ross, who has no clue what he is doing, and he's a buffoon.
He doesn't need to do anything except sign paychecks, Mr. Negative. That's all Stephen Ross needs to do is sign paychecks, and he's doing it.
He's better at causing scandals than he is at winning football games.
So he sucks at trying to cheat. I agree.
Right.
I understand it.
Right. And again, Greer is mid at best. The organization is not run well at the top.
Greer's mid at best.
It's not run.
So I retracted my statement previously that I was trying to say Greer was a top 10 GM. I do believe that I had some facts to back that up, but then somebody brought it to my attention. If you haven't won a playoff game, you can't be a top 10 GM. And I agree with that statement. Well, I put Chris Greer at number 11 best GM in all of football. And the moment he does win a playoff game, he's going straight.
What is Greer has no playoff wins during his tenure.
I agree. That's why he's not in my top 10 anymore. That's why he's not in my top 10.
11th? He's 11th.
He's 11th.
All right, Steven. I'm going to step in here because we got to get rolling. We got some other guys here in the chat.
Yeah, I'll let you guys go. I'm glad I could make my point. If you want to say something, go right ahead.
I love you, Mr. Negative. I appreciate you coming on.
No, let's keep it going back and forth on Twitter, Mr. Negative. It's all good.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Love you, brother. Be good, man.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
I mean, real quick, before I bring on the next guest, you get what I'm trying to say here, right? Like, this is Mr. Negative, who I like, who's my guy, but it is like what I have to deal with. It is what Mr. Negative is part of the huge fan base that I'm talking about.
Steven. What are your expectations when the guy's name is Mr. Negative?
I understand it. I get it.
You're setting yourself up for failure.
Mr.
If
Negative,
your expectation is anything other than what
he's a good guy, though. I don't know why he has that name. He's such a good guy. All right, let me go on.
I don't know why. He just told you for the past 5 minutes.
I know. I get it.
And it's all good. Like, he's a good dude. Like, we appreciate it.
You cannot talk people off the ledge. Let them jump. Mr. Negative is more loyal to his negativity than seeing the turning point.
And it's all good, you know. And when you know, Tua is hoisting the Super Bowl MVP trophy,
that's right, Mr. Negative. When Tua's like this, I just want to thank everybody, all my Samoan brothers and sisters. I love Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel. Mwah! I love everybody. Yes, take me to Disney World. That's what I want to see.
And you'll have Mr. Negative right next to you, arm in arm, enjoying the moment.
Anyways,
next up.
Let me bring on the next guest.
Speaking of negativity,
Mark from Bill's Mafia.
Good morning, Stephen. Good morning, Cameron. Thank you for the show. I wanted to bring up a point that I think that's pretty relevant. And I'm a Bills fan, so I'm all about hopium, guys. I live the hopium deal. It's been a failure. It's been a failure.
My moniker, Mark. That's not a good thing for me. Okay, so
well, let me just finish my point, please. So when you look at the Dolphins, is this the best team in 25 years? Absolutely, it's the best team that you fielded in 25 years, but it's not enough. You have to compare against the 4 teams that went to the conference championship games last year, and say, with the moves that I've made currently, am I better than Kansas City? Am I better than Cincinnati? Am I better than San Francisco?
What does that say? What does that say, Cameron?
The fuck out of here. Meaning Mark.
Yes.
And listen, so I know where Mark was going. I love Mark.
I'm sorry,
let me retort, Mark, and say the games haven't been played. And everyone's a Super Bowl champion on paper this time of year, right? And they're even better team after the draft. Listen, and Lewis, I see you back there shaking your head. I understand, but until the games are played on each Sunday, unless you're the Houston Texans or the Atlanta Falcons, you're in the game. You have a chance. You have the opportunity. And that's all Greer is doing is giving this team a better opportunity to win games. That's all it is. On paper, you still got to play the games.
Mark's bad. I think Mark's mad at me. Rules are rules, though, right?
Mark should be mad at Noob.
Lewis!
My brother!
Lewis!
This is ridiculous.
Real quick, for the people, say it. Say it.
That's cap.
That's cap.
That's cap.
Welcome
Oh
to
my
Cap
God.
Flip Floppers.
Lewis, we are going to make t-shirts. We're going to get your face made up in a like drawn up, and we're going to put a little bubble next to it saying that's cap, and you're going to have a backwards hat on. Yeah, that we're definitely doing that. That's cap.
I'm down. Listen, I'm not going to be up here long. I just came up here to say, Stephen, I told you earlier, me and you are not friends no more because of that
heard
Marino
you.
take.
Wow.
And I also want to just come up in here and say that I'm not Von Joe's friend no more neither. Because I cannot believe Von Joe just agreed with you. I don't give a damn what Tua Tagovailoa does for this team. There is not a better quarterback that puts his chest inside a football jersey than Dan Marino. Have y'all lost y'all's mind?
The question was asked to me.
Von Joe, I cannot believe. Von Joe, listen, you got to pick a side. It's me.
But listen, Lewis, right now, that's a fact. But the question was, if Tua wins a Super Bowl, is he considered better than Marino?
You got a mug? Did you get a mug?
It's a custom dolphin mug.
Love it.
I cannot believe. Von Joe.
Lewis, I love you, bro. I love you, bro. But it was a hypothetical question, and I gave a hypothetical answer.
Now he's
okay. Well, look, here's another hypothetical. I'm going to play the lottery today.
Lewis, if Tua wins a Super Bowl, they better make a statue larger than Dan Marino. That's all I know, cuz.
Yeah, and all I know, if I play the lottery tonight and I win it tomorrow, I will never be on this show again.
What?
That's a I will be somewhere in Bora Bora somewhere, and no one will ever see me again.
Lewis, that is not true.
You're not winning the scratch off.
He's going to call in from his yacht with smoking a big fat cigar and going, see you, sucker.
Listen, if you win the lotto, you better be smoking a blunt, David. I don't want to hear no tobacco.
Listen, if I win the lotto, I'm calling in from my yacht, and Von Joe and Steven are not invited. Only Dan Marino fans are invited.
Hey, bro, that's okay. Right? That's okay. Just send me $20 for gas.
Hey, man.
Andrevius said you're a bully. Andrevius said you're a bully.
Listen, I got a meeting to run into. I just want to say, Lewis, I still love you, bro. It was a hypothetical question.
No, we love you. You don't have to hate us.
Bro, it's the logo over everything. We know this. Stay with me. Logo over everybody. Plain and simple.
Absolutely. I love you guys too, man. I'm just trolling a little bit. I love you guys too. It's been nonsense today, but I love you guys.
I mean, it hasn't been nonsense. Real quick, before I go on to the next person. And by the way, I had a couple of people that were waiting back there. Guys, come back on. I'll bring you on. I'm going to bring you on.
People got
what did you think of the interview? Did you listen to the McDaniel interview?
Yeah, he watched another 700 plays. Congratulations.
He did not watch another. It was not another 700. He was talking about the first time. He was just recapping the story of when he first came into the building.
Oh, okay. So he knew Tua was the guy before this season?
He knew the moment he got in the building and started watching all this game film, he was like, this is the guy. This is it.
Okay. And did he have that same feeling? Okay, that's fine. I get it. Did he have that same feeling when Tua wasn't able to play for him in December or January? Did he have that same feeling?
When Tua, ask the question again. I'm sorry, I didn't.
When Tua couldn't play, when Tua was not available to be on the field for him, was he still the best quarterback that can lead this team?
He was not on the field. Nobody's talking about his injury, though.
But that's what. But we got to talk about that because that is. We always talk about consistency, right, Stephen?
Mhm.
He's been constantly injured throughout his career, right? So this whole
Andrevius says he is him, the chosen one. He will deliver the Miami Dolphins, the left arm of God.
Yeah,
I mean, we're hoping so.
it. Yeah, again, we believe in hope and dreams. And
what else we got, Lewis?
Lewis, do you want that bag of hopium? I got it, man. 2 for 10.
We ain't got nothing else. We ain't got nothing else.
Let me get a deal. Let me get 2 for $5.
I swear it's the best.
Come back to the screen door, Lewis.
Hey, by the way, you're a Tampa Bay Rays fan, right?
Yes.
They suck, and they're going to lose every game.
They do suck. We have an owner that's horrible.
You got a stadium that's horrible.
No lies told there.
I'm not gonna lie though. Inside that stadium, when it's nice and 72 degrees, feeling good inside, I love it. I ain't gonna lie. 2 more questions. Have you ever been to a opening day? Yes.
Which one? Where? You got a story? You got a quick opening day story?
Yeah, we beat the Yankees opening day. Who was it? I don't know. My dad's a Yankee fan, so we usually go when the Yankees come down. So
it was fun though, huh? And last question is, what color Kool-Aid do you like?
Red.
Aqua and orange, bro.
I want that purple stuff.
Aqua and orange Kool-Aid.
Hey, let's get these shirts made, Stephen. I got a couple people in the chat I want to pass them out to.
I'm about it. Stop the cap.
Stop. Aqua and orange Kool-Aid, bro.
That's cap. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get you, and you're gonna be sipping on some Kool-Aid. That's what it is. We're gonna make like the caricatures that you see when you go to like a part, it's hanging up on the wall. I'm not gonna get it.
Why don't we just make a shirt, Stephen, and you could be handing me 2 hopium bags and with a needle in my arm. There you go.
I can make that happen.
I'm injecting the hopium. I
can make that happen.
Well,
and then you're staying on the shirt. That's cat.
That's cat. It's ridiculous. Y'all boys are.
It's $1 million idea right there. Let's go.
Hey, I just need 2% out of that $1 million idea.
Let me get 2%. I got you. I love you, brother. Be good, man.
Later.
See you, Lewis.
All right, next up. I haven't seen this person in a long time. I miss him. I was starting to think she don't love me no more.
Pamela.
Take yourself off mute.
Hello, guys. Hello. Trust me, I still love you. I've been MIA, pun intended, for quite a while.
I heard you didn't love me no more, Pam. And I was
true. Don't let him tell you that, Stephen D. Don't let him tell you that. Don't listen to it.
Pam, are you saying that's cap? Say that's cap.
It's cap.
And she put it in the chat.
I love it.
I did.
I love it.
I did. I put it in the chat. It's cap. Totally love you, Stephen D. And of course, my Cam man. Love Cam. So good to see you guys.
Good to see you, Pam.
Floor is yours, Pam. Whatever you want to talk about. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
Well, so I guess the main concern going into this season is the same as the main concern going into last season, and it's Tua. And it's not that I don't believe that he has the skill set needed to be a great quarterback. It is, of course, completely reliant on his health. It's a big question mark. I hate having a huge question mark. Just like y'all, I know y'all feel the same way. Nobody wants this question mark. But it looks like to me, from what I'm seeing, that the Dolphins are making moves so that this team is going to be so dadgum good that we could put my mom out there as quarterback and be successful.
Whoa. Damn, nothing against your mom. I'm sure she's a lovely lady, okay? I'm telling you right now, too, is that guy, okay? So I don't want to say nothing bad about your mom. What I am telling you is, Oh, Pamela's been chilling with TD in the mornings. That's not true,
Well,
but
I
I'm going
have not. Oh my gosh!
to spread the rumor that she loves him more than you. That's not that.
Oh my
take
gosh! So chilling and TD don't belong in the same sentence. I'm just saying.
Anyways, all right. So look,
He's
I mean,
intense.
if you're asking me, if you're stating to me, look, my question to him has nothing to do with his playing ability, right? You're saying it's his health, purely his health. Am I hearing you correctly?
Yeah, yes, mostly with a question mark. I have.
Why is there any question mark on his playing ability?
Because I looked at a few games last season, and I don't think his health was the issue. I could be wrong. But when I look at the San Fran game, and I look at the San Diego game, and I look at our home game on December 25th, and I see what I saw, honest to goodness, that, I mean, they can say, oh, we saw, we saw he was a little off and blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. I was there. I didn't see it, and he was playing pretty well the first half of that game. So I have.
He got a concussion. He got a concussion. They didn't find out till the next day when McDaniel and him was doing game film, and he's like, "Bro, you're off. Something is wrong. Go to the doctor."
Right. Well, I hear you. I saw that. I heard that as well.
He didn't tell him go eat a Snickers. You're not yourself when you're hungry. He said, "Bro, you're off. Something is wrong. Go to the doctor."
And that, I'm saying that's why I say it with a question mark. I am not, completely positive that it wasn't his health, but there were things, honestly. I mean, how do you make the same argument for San Fran or San Diego? Or I don't know.
I mean, look, I hear you, Pam. The health question I get. Totally 100% back you up on. Look, his health is something that at the end of the day, I'm questioning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his ability to be consistent is another one, right? Can he show up in December? Why is it that he's had some of these games against good teams where he just hasn't shown up? But I can point to you against good teams where he has shown up.
Oh, absolutely. And so, that's why I said in the beginning that I believe that he has the skill set to be a really good, maybe even better than that quarterback.
To me, that's undebatable. He's got the skill set. He's shown it, not just glimpses of it.
Right.
Extended periods of time of it. Has he shown a full season of it? No. Nobody's sitting here saying he has. I'm saying he's shown more than glimpses. He's shown extended periods of time of it. And he is more than capable of running this team. And if you go look at all the rest of the options this year that are available to us, the only one to me that makes more sense than Tua is retired and playing beach football. And he does not want to play anymore. And so be it. You're gone. He's the only one that makes more sense to me than Tua this year. Otherwise, Tua is the best option that the Dolphins have. Not Aaron Rodgers, not Lamar Jackson. Aaron Rodgers said on national television, I was 95% sure I was done. He doesn't want to play no more. He is playing despite Green Bay. That is it. That's it. His heart ain't in it. I don't care what nobody tells me. Reading between the lines.
I 100% agree. I think the Jets are going to be the same old Jets.
And look, do I think that Baltimore shortchanging Lamar? I do, but here's the reality of the situation. He has just as many question marks in certain aspects about injury as Tua does. So would I rather give up 2 first-round draft picks and pay this guy $50 million and still have the same injury concerns, or would I rather pay a guy $8 million, not have to give up any future assets and hope that he pans out and has just has the same question marks? I'm going to go with Tua. Tua is the best option for the Miami Dolphins in 2023. There isn't a better one that is on an active NFL roster currently that's available in a trade, available in free agency, or available on the street because Brady's already filed his paperwork. Okay.
So let me push back just a little bit on the Lamar argument. So I'm not saying that we need Lamar in here or that we even have a chance of getting Lamar or that he's a good option. Like you said, he does have injury issues as well. But I don't believe that it's to the degree of something that can shut down somebody like what Tua has. And my biggest problem is that it's still a question mark. And we're going into year 3 with him. Yes, it's only year 2 starting with the same quarterback, the same scheme, the same coach, the same. I mean, this is like the Dolphins have. Tua hasn't seen the same offensive coach yet. Not yet. This is the first time. Well, not even now. Not even. I mean, of course, having McDaniel back there. I mean, we all pretty much know he is the offensive caller, but there's so many questions going in. And what if he gets another concussion and he goes down? We better have one hell of a plan B. I mean, plan B better be big, big, big. And that's kind of, Stephen, why I was saying the point about it looks like we're putting together a team that, and of course, holy exaggeration, Batman, talking about my mom being the quarterback. But if you have a good enough team around you, I think you can have a medium quarterback. And, maybe we have that on the team. I don't know. I just honestly feel like I'm tired of the big question marks, the big ones.
In all fairness, Pam, an injury is an injury. If you're not playing on the field, it doesn't matter if you blow out your knee or you have a concussion. Like, you can come back from either. It's a matter of how you recover from it and whether you're willing to play with your decreased mobility in your knee or your decreased cognitive ability long term. Like it really, to me, the best ability is availability. So you remain injury free. I'll take my chances on Tua remaining concussion free than I would, a running quarterback not getting hit in the legs again.
Would you? I mean, because
but I'm just saying from an injury versus injury standpoint. Would I be excited if Greer traded for Lamar? Sure, I would. I would be really excited. Am I going to be excited if Tua remains healthy all year as the Dolphins quarterback and puts this offense on his back? I'd be super excited. Either way,
100%. I'm there with you. Yep.
I'm a Dolphins fan.
Me too. And I mean, I'm going to pull fan cards from people if you're going to tell me that you root against Tua to do really well, because then you're just rooting against the team. He is our QB1 going into this season. So of course we all want to have him do well. Is he going to stay healthy? I don't know. And if he'd had 2 concussions, Cameron, maybe I wouldn't be in this position. But the fact that he's had at least 3 that we know of, and maybe more, and the thing that
Pamela, I'll tell you, Pamela, let me interrupt you. I'll tell you, Pamela, that we don't know over 60% of the concussions that these players suffer. We only did because of Tua's being on national TV and so obvious. And the only reason that the concussion was pointed out against the Green Bay game is because someone on Twitter pointed it out. The team would have never said anything. I guarantee it. I know for a fact that they wouldn't have. The only reason it was because it was exposed in the media.
Do you agree with that? Like, I mean, I know teams hide stuff, but, as a fan, we're sitting there in the stadium watching that game, and I'm looking at especially the last pass he threw. I was like, are you kidding me? We actually had a chance to go and finish that game, and that ended it right there. The interception took us way down the field, like we were in it. Oh,
it was obvious to me that he had a concussion. There's some in the chat that say no, he was benched. Listen, the first half of that game, he was a much different player. That play happened the last drive of the first half, and then we came out there in the second half. He was not the same player. And you can go back and watch the tape. Concussions do matter, yes. The only thing I'm saying is they're a lot more prevalent in the NFL than what teams will tell us. What is given to us by team trainers, they cover up a lot of stuff. And believe me, I know this for a fact that the players are out there playing with concussions, knowingly so. It just so happens that our quarterback, which is a pretty big deal, suffered concussions in the national spotlight, and it was blown up and exposed.
Right.
All right, Pamela. I don't mean to cut you off. I want to let some of these other people get on before we get off. I appreciate you coming on. I miss you a lot. You need to come on more often.
I've missed you guys too, and I plan to be here more often. Just, life sometimes gets like a big wall.
We're your family, Pamela. We matter.
I know. Yeah, I think of you guys as my family. I love you guys. So don't listen to no crap, Stephen D. Don't listen to no crap.
You out here putting, that you like TD more than me. I'm starting to feel jealous. That's all I'm saying.
That ain't never been said out of this mouth. Never, ever, ever, ever.
All right. I love you, Pam. You're the best. Ladies and gentlemen, Pamela.
Good to talk to you, Pam.
Bye, guys. Love you back.
All right. Miss Pam in the building. All right, let's go on next. Kaz, what's up, Kaz?
What's going on?
My brother from the north. Kaz, everything's wicked hard. I went to the park over at Harvard Yard, and I had to catch the baseball game for those Red Sox.
I ain't watching a Red Sox game. That's for damn sure. Unless they're playing my team. That's it.
Who's your team?
Oakland. Yep.
How the hell are you an Oakland fan when you clearly are not from the West Coast?
So I'm not from Miami either. And why am I a Dolphins fan? Why am I a Bulls fan?
I don't. You're confusing.
Hey,
me.
Kaz, let's talk about why you're a Bulls fan and just look over my left shoulder.
No, we will not do any sort of the thing on this channel. It's
Kaz,
LeBron.
Tell me he's the greatest NBA player of all time.
Oh, of course he is.
LeBron.
Not even close. It's that man, Mr. 23, right there.
Yeah, LeBron James.
No, not LeBron. Not even close.
LeBron. Maybe you've heard.
We already had this conversation.
What do you want to talk about, Kaz?
I can't believe you even said what you said today. I'm disappointed in you.
What are you talking about, Kaz? What did I say?
I would never expect to even attempt to hear those words come out of your mouth, saying that Tua would be better quarterback than Marino. That's not even
wins
close.
A Super Bowl.
No, I don't. That's like all right. Might as well put everybody who won a Super Bowl in the history.
No. Dan Marino is 10 times better than Trent Dilfer. It's not even close. He's 10 times better than Joe Flacco. It's not even close. He's 10 times better than Doug Williams. It's not even close. But if Tua takes this Dolphins team to a Super Bowl and wins it, Tua goes ahead as the best Dolphins quarterback of all time, in my opinion.
No. Not even close. Not even close.
It's all right. We can agree to disagree.
He's not. He's not better.
I want a ring. Danny didn't get us a ring. There's no ring here.
Well, the Danny's fault.
I set you up good on that one, Steve.
You did. I am getting.
But Danny, even in this offense, at his age, and he could win a ring.
Jarvis says your credentials are took. Period. Your love for Tua is creepy. Gee, get him, Kaz. Steven is a hater, and you have exposed him. Someone time out Stephen D right now. Ain't no timing me out today. This ain't no full panel. I gotta host the show. Can't time me out today.
Today is opening day.
It is opening day. One of my favorite days of the year.
I'm happy. I get to watch my team play again in a whole new season. But I get the same way I do with the Oakland A's as I do with the Dolphins. They're just going to set me up for disappointment every year.
Listen, at least you can say the Oakland A's aren't really good on paper either. At least you can say the Dolphins are.
Well, and that's
true.
the whole thing. Like Oakland, every time. Do you know how many Oakland jerseys I go out and buy, and I kick myself in the ass all the time because I buy the jersey and the player's not there anymore because they get rid of everybody. They get rid of Chapman. I have a Chapman jersey sitting on me right now.
They're about to get rid of Laureano at the break too, man. And they're starting a rookie pitcher who is at 5 major league starts. That's her opening stage starter.
Yeah, it's when I know, and again, that's another organization or a front office that keeps on lying to me. It's not Billy Beane. I honestly say it's not Billy Beane. He's the greatest GM.
Billy Beane should have went to Boston and took the GM job for Boston. He would have had a World Series already.
Well, he doesn't have a World Series because my owner's a dumbass. Excuse my language.
No lies told there. You are 100% correct.
How many times did the dude lies to us all the time? Oh, we're waiting for a stadium. I'll spend money and we'll put a winning team together on the field when we have a stadium to actually will people go into. I've been to that stadium 5 times. And I live in Massachusetts and I've been to that stadium 5 times.
Appreciate it, Doug. All right, Kaz, get out of here. I got to bring on 2 more people. I love you, brother. Happy opening day,
Kaz.
Later.
Robert, hurry up.
Damn, I come on for 2 seconds trying to shut the hell up and get off.
Robert, just say what you want to say. Gosh.
Jesus, Steven. Why you got to be so mean to me?
Because everybody's being mean to me in the chat. Everybody hates me.
Maybe you deserve it.
Mr. Spread Kindness deserves the negativity that I get? Never.
No. When you cat, man, you deserve to be called out on it. When you say dumb things, you deserve to be called out on it.
That Lewis has made Cap such a huge, pop culture has, period. But,
listen,
go ahead.
Lewis is a contributor. We'll agree with that.
Yeah, well, that's true. He's a part of it.
So real quick, I guess the only comment I have, since I didn't get to catch everything today, I'll have to go back and play catch up. For the concussion stuff, there is a frequency and time delay between those injuries that matters. And there's honestly not enough time in the season to properly recover from one without missing a third of the season appropriately. And as fan bases, we try and push people on the field because we want them out there to play here. Sometimes it happens too quickly or too early. So I think this year's not going to be affected by last year's stuff, and we'll see how it goes. It's just kind of where I sit on it.
What was the quarterback, the linebacker, Jake Kuechly, right? The guy from Carolina Panthers that retired. He had a succession of
Luke Kuechly.
Right? He had a succession of concussions over a period of 4 years or 5 years. Didn't happen he didn't get 5 in 1 year, but he got them over a succession of years. It creates a degenerative tear down of the tissues, the cognitive tissues in your brain, right? So the only way to recover from that is blood flow to those portions of the brain and recover that tissue. But the more damage it's done to that particular area,
the harder it is.
The harder it's to recover. And
that's why Andrew Luck left the NFL early.
There's so many players in the NFL because
I agree with the sentiment. The only thing I'll have to say is when your body returns back to that baseline, it doesn't make you more prone to getting the next one.
We don't know that.
The actual Center or National Research Center for Concussions has stated that.
They have? Okay. Look, but
yeah. But they're talking months in between.
Here's the thing. I'll say this. Even if they have said that, my thought process to it is, in order to say something, I feel like you need 20 or 30 years of research.
That's a fair statement. That's a fair statement. That's fair.
And I don't know if they've had enough years of really studying this to feel this way, to look at it that way.
Well, and the brain's a big mess anyways. You can't study it on a live person.
That's true. Yeah. It only happens when you're checked
all right,
out.
Robert, I got to let you go, man. I love you, brother. Be good, man.
See ya.
All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show. I got a couple people left. I'm going to bring them on after Cameron leaves. Cameron, your final thought. You got to get out of here before noon.
Yeah, I got to roll, man. Happy opening day. Good conversation.
Happy opening day to you. I love you, brother.
Good talking with everybody, man. But I'll see you next week.
No, you won't. You won't see me next week. As a matter of fact, do you want to host your own show on Thursday?
I will be driving from Columbus, Ohio to Cleveland.
Yeah. See,
I can do it Friday.
All right, so you're going to host Spread Kindness Friday on Friday?
I could do that.
All right. Wednesday, Lewis has Wildin' Out Wednesday, and Friday, Cameron has Spread Kindness Friday. I'm going to be in North Carolina, so.
Right on.
All right, so we got 2 days filled up next week, guys. Let's go. Noob says fly the W, Cameron.
Fly the W, right there. Fly the W.
Love you, brother.
I'll be at the Marlins game at 4:00. I'll be at the Cubs Reds next Monday at 6:30. I'll be at Cubs Padres on April 25th, 4th, 5th.
I will be at the Norfolk Tides versus the Gwinnett Sea Basses on Wednesday night of next week. AAA baseball. Let's go.
Sea Bass.
Sea Bass. I don't know if that's what they're called. I know it's Gwinnett. They used to be the Braves, but they're not the Braves anymore. So, anyway, nonetheless,
have a great day.
You, brother. Be good, man.
See ya.
All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show. Clock Blockers right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Triple S Podcast. What's up?
What's going on, Steven? Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, man. Floor is yours.
Beautiful. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Level 2 Noob, always cracking me up in the chat. Salute to Level 2 Noob. But this morning, I want to talk to Chris Greer, Steven, because I know he watches the show. I know he's probably preparing his lunch, warming it up in the microwave while he's listening to you and I talk and reading the chat. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk to Chris Greer real quick. When I look at this O-line, Chris Greer, I see three people that I don't fully trust. I don't fully trust Teron Armstead because of health. We know he has a tendency to miss at least a few games. And then I don't trust Liam Eichenberg or Austin Jackson because of health and also, unproven or inconsistent levels of play. So when I look at three O-lines I don't trust, I want at least three solid depth pieces. So right now we have about one, maybe 1.5 or two if you want to count Feeney. But Robert Jones, I'd say, is the one that I do trust to come in. So Chris Greer, let's add, at least one, if not two more offensive linemen. Second thing I want to say to Chris Greer, people have been asking for a center. People are like, well, you don't want to bring in a center. Connor's a good center. And I agree with that. I don't necessarily want to move Connor from center. But if you look at the Eagles, you could still bring in a center when you have a guy that, maybe on the way out. We only have Connor under contract for this year. After that, we're going to have to re-up or let him walk. So I don't mind getting a center in the building. And he might not play center because Connor he's a top 10 center, right? Maybe we could do what the Eagles did with Landon Dickerson and place that center at guard, where we draft a center in the draft. So that's another thing I want to mention to Chris Greer. Don't forget we could do that. All right, last thing I want to say to Chris Greer, let's prepare for X to not come back to form. Obviously, we all hope he does, right? We're Dolphins fans. We want the best for the team. But in the event that he doesn't, let's prepare for that, especially, not only for this year, because for this year, it's X or bust. If he's not good, we have unproven guys like Trill and Kohu's kind of proven at this point. But let's start to prepare for the future and maybe consider taking a corner in the draft, because we all kind of started talking about when we got Ramsey, we got a great corner duo, but we seem to forget that X did not have his best year last year. So let's prepare for that. Maybe consider drafting a corner.
I don't think we need to
draft. You were going to say something?
Yeah. I mean, look, as far as the X thing is concerned, I don't think I've forgotten it. I think he had a bad year. I mean, look, here's the reality. Age obviously does limit you as an athlete. As you get older, you get slower. Your reflexes get, your timing gets slower. But
he dealt with injuries.
He
not
did.
The best DC.
There's a lot of,
on the other side. There's a lot of factors, but yeah.
I think the significant drop-off that we saw, numbers-wise, had to do with the entirety of what that secondary looked like last year. Am I saying, do I think he would have still had some slight dip last year had the secondary been as impressive as it was the 2 years prior? Yeah, I still think he would have had a slight dip off. But to me, I think that man is excited, motivated, and super stoked to be in the same defense with Jalen Ramsey, Javon Holland, Brandon Jones, Cater Kahoo, Trill Williams, Deshaun Elliott. Everything keeps on going and then having Vic Fangio there. And so I think that Vic will be able to bring out the best of where X is currently at in his career. Personal opinion.
I agree 100%. And I hope that's the case. But like I said, I'm trying to talk to Chris Greer right now, right? He just
go ahead. You talk to Chris. Go ahead and talk to Chris.
So Chris, just start to prepare in case all those factors that we just mentioned, and that should, provide a positive effect on Xavier Howard. If those don't pan out and he still looks the same way he looked last year, let's prepare for that. Hopefully that it doesn't happen, but let's prepare for it. And last thing I want to say, Chris, we got 4 draft picks. I got 5 things that I would like. If you could hit, any one of these 5, or any one of these 5 within your 4 picks, I'll be very happy. I got O-line ×2, a linebacker, because we only got 1 so far, right, with David Long. I think we got an outside linebacker too, actually, but he's more of a depth guy. Corner and then running back. So keep those in mind, Chris Greer. Make it happen. Go Fins.
Go Fins. Triple S, I appreciate you coming on today. Love you, brother. Be good.
Thank you, Steven. Take care.
Yep. Todd. Good morning, Todd.
Good morning. Man, I don't agree with your Marino take only because normally I agree with you, but I can't with this because if Marino would have had a defense, he would have had championships like crazy. And that's the difference.
If that had happened, I would have said Tua needs to win 2 or 3 Super Bowls for that to happen. But at this moment, as it stands, if Tua wins a Super Bowl, just one, I'm sorry, he did more for me. He brought me the ring.
See, the thing is, I can't hold not having a defense against Marino when he had us up there in offense every year, and we would lose games 45-42 like crazy. So but now on a different note, I remember earlier there was somebody up here talking about if Fangio will suit up.
Yeah.
Okay. Said that. Remember the 2000 Ravens, how good they were on defense?
Yes, I do.
Remember when Marvin Lewis left in the first year he was gone, they dropped to 7-9 with the 19th ranked defense because of Mike Nolan coming in? A defensive coordinator makes such a big deal on the sideline calling plays.
I agree.
It is huge. And that's going to be a huge upgrade for us. And that's about all I had to say because I had to come on and I had to say that because everybody's like, oh, yeah, we don't have that defense the Baltimore Ravens did. Well, we got the defensive coordinator the Ravens had. Not the exact guy, but I'm just saying a great one.
It's that type of caliber defensive coordinator. I 100% agree with you. Look, here's the thing. I fully expect and assume we'll have a top 10 defense. I know people are going to kill me for this.
I would be surprised if we didn't.
Me too. And I know people are probably going to kill. I don't know if kill me is the right word, but there's a part of me that thinks we could have a top 3 defense next year. And I know that's extreme. I know you're like, what?
No, I would say top 5.
I mean, look, I'm willing to go on record to say top 10, but my heart, if you're asking me my honest opinion, I don't know, man. I think it's going to be better than top 10, man.
Has he ever been under a top 10 defense? Has he ever been under?
Yeah, he has. He's had some
rare.
He has, but it's rare, right? And everywhere he's gone that first year, they've made a significant step forward, minus him being the head coach in Denver, right?
Yep.
So that's how I feel about it.
And look how much talent he has. He has like a playground of talent. He's like a kid going to a candy store. You have outside edges that can rush. You have Wilkins in the middle. You got David Long, who I like everything I see from him. If he can get past what we are always talking about, the injuries.
And here's the thing, to be fair, Todd, and I'm glad you kind of said what you said. So if did you listen to McDaniel's interview with Mike Silver?
A little bit of it. I haven't been able to get through it all.
All right, so it's a hard listen to, I will admit, because the sound quality is bad. But neither here or there. I'm listening to it. I listened to the whole thing, and he goes, remember I even talked about it earlier on today's show. I said, hey, he said, I don't think, people in the organization those first couple of days we're talking and, Mike, you need to go. We need to spend all this money on free agency on the offensive line. That's what's going to make this team better. And he's questioning it, right? He's like, but I don't just want to say no. I want
that part.
I think that, right?
Yep, I saw that part.
And it was one of the first things that stuck out to me. And so this year, we're again questioning the offensive line, right? And I'm sure that people are saying this to him. Well, last year, his solution to it was go get dynamic players in that offense. Well, he did that, right? He did that with Tyreek Hill. And you had, Jalen. So you had 2 receivers over 1,000 yards, right? One 19, one at 12 or 13. So you had a dynamic offense that was top 10. Well, how do we even improve upon team wins? Well, you improve the defense. And that's a lot, I don't want to say easier, but if you bring in somebody like Fangio. So I think Mike McDaniel's solution is, all right, well, I said dynamic players. I did that. That didn't 100% totally work out in the win-loss column. But I do believe had we had a better defense on the field, we would have improved in the win-loss column, and we probably would have won at least a playoff game, right?
And you know what I think McDaniel's looking at, though, also with last year?
Yeah.
All 3 of those hits that Tua took, he held the ball for over 4 or 5 seconds. There's no offensive line that's going to hold you off that long. I don't care how good you are.
So I'll say this. Do I think that McDaniel wants the team to improve on the O-line? Of course I do. But I don't think he's going to go out and trade for Jonah Williams. I don't think he's going to go out and get that big name. He's going to try to find some diamonds in the rough or whatever. He did do the big name, Teron, right? He went out and got Teron.
And Williams.
Yep, and Connor. So I still think this offensive line will improve between now and week 1. Don't get that twisted. They will improve. But I think his mindset is, man, this defense is going to be amazing next year. I don't think we have any idea how good this defense is going to be next year. Forget the offense for a second. The defense is going to be absolutely shut down in the NFL next year.
And if you think about it, all 3 of those injuries, like I said last year, all 3 of those hits, none of them were because of the offensive line. It was because he held the ball. When they were all in there, he had plenty of time to get the ball off because he was putting up numbers. The problem I got is the offensive line did hurt the running game a little bit. You know what I mean? And that's where it needs to improve more than anything.
I agree. All right, Todd, let me let you go, man. I love you, brother. Thank you for coming on.
You have a good one, man. Take care.
No problem. Guys, a couple more people left. Hit that like button. Donate to the channel. Help the channel grow. We can't grow without your help. Only 52 likes, over 100 of y'all watching. Guys, donate. It definitely helps. It goes such a long way into helping the channel grow. Can't grow without your help. Dolphin72 says, pump the brakes on the new defense. With every new system, there's a learning curve. I would be a little bit more optimistic about our D if it were year 2 of Fangio system. Dolphin72, that's why I agree with that ultimately. I do. That's why I'm not ready to say, I'm saying, oh my God, hot take, they're going to be. My heart tells me that they can be with the players and the system that he's designing. But you are correct. There is that learning curve. And I think ultimately that's going to play an effect. So I think you're spot on with that, Dolphin72. All right. A few more people left. I got my man, El Cap. What's up, El Cap?
What up, Steven?
What's going on?
Sorry, there's a bit of an echo.
No, you're fine. Go ahead. You don't sound as bad as the echo in that Mike McDaniel interview yesterday.
Oh, my God. That was terrible.
I know.
First of all, Pam was cooking.
She was. She out here. She Chef Zhu thought he was the cook. No, it's Chef Pam in the building.
I know. She was straight friggin' with the walkout, just friggin' spinning it. Listen, I got to push back on being better than Dan Marino, bro. I mean, that is just that. Listen, there's some cap takes.
Cam set me up, El Cap. He set me up for that.
Listen, I'm sorry, but even if he wins a Super Bowl, he'll be. You can't even say he's even more accomplished than Dan.
I never said that he would be more accomplished. If you're
saying he's a better quarterback.
I'm saying if he wins the Super Bowl, he will be the better quarterback in my eyes because he did something that Dan could not do, and that's the ultimate thing.
But in the same breath, you're talking about a defense you think could be top 3.
I hear you, Cap. I'm just telling you. Look, Marino is. childhood hero. Okay, I love the man. But if Tua wins us a Super Bowl,
listen,
bro,
if
I've
Tua wins us
dreamed
a
about
Super
a Super
Bowl,
Bowl
pay
win
the
for
man.
years. I'm sorry.
I would
I in my heart of hearts, I think I will feel a little bit more love for Tua because he brought me the thing that I've always wanted, and that's a
listen.
Super
He
Bowl.
gets me the Super Bowl. I'll get that tattoo I've been waiting to get my entire life, and I'll even put Uno at the bottom of it. I don't give a damn. But I
Uno.
will not. I literally will not say that he's better than Dan. It's just physics and how the ball is being thrown and what Dan could do as a quarterback. He couldn't. He unless he comes out as a brand new person, it's just not going to happen. Could he win the Super Bowl and do something Dan didn't? Absolutely. But I mean, again, bro, it's just insane. The game, what it was then, to the game it is now. Um, everything, bro. I mean, I don't have to go into it all. That's number one. Number two, I liked what Triple S was saying about corners. I always believe always get a corner every other draft at least. You want to get one of these guys. They're just too important out there, and they make too much money.
Feel like with the Cater Kahoo signing last year, Cap, that from as an unrestricted free agent, that you don't have to get it in the draft. It could be
remember
another
something,
undrafted rookie free agent.
You got to remember something though. We were hitting on these undrafted guys ever since Flores brought God, I'm blanking on our defensive coordinator's name last year. What's his name?
Josh Boyer.
Josh Boyer, who is an exceptional eye for cornerback talent. He's gone now. Now, maybe that's something that Fangio also has. I think Fangio's a little bit more on the D line as far as seeing the gems. But I mean, look,
which by the way would not surprise me if in the next 2 years we have Christian Wilkins' replacement in the building.
Oh, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if
I agree with that statement.
pick.
I agree with
if
that
that
statement.
51st pick comes this year and the kid, the nose tackle from Florida's there, I think they take him.
I think Fangio will be pounding on the table to take him. I don't know if they'll do it, but he'll definitely be pounding on the table that he wants.
It'll all depend on who else is there. If there's one of those tight ends are there, or I don't know, a center or a guard or a tackle fell down, maybe they would go that route. But I hear you. I think the defense is going to be well improved. I think this team is set and ready to go. I just wonder, here's the thing, and Pam was cooking on it, and she was talking about the head injuries and how the long-term effects, and you even touched on a little bit about Luke Kuechly and, his long-term effects and that thing. I think we're forgetting that it's not just head injuries we have to worry about this quarterback. There's, lower leg injuries. There's rib injuries. The guy has taken quite a beating. But when I look at him taking the beating that he has, it's no different than any other quarterback. It's just the injuries result differently. I'm not calling him frail. I'm not calling him whatever. I'm just calling it like it is. That's where Dolphin fans need to have the most concern with this quarterback. I think he's proven that he belongs on the field as a pro quarterback. I just don't see how he has proven that he can last. He hasn't lasted a season yet. And even if he lasts a full season next year, if he makes it every game and into the postseason every game and, plays through, little injuries here and there, and doesn't get all hemmed up, that would be along with success and playing like he did last year, it would be an absolute vote of confidence for someone like me who's a loud skeptic. But until we see it, man, we are gambling, bro. We are gambling big time. I mean, we gotta understand that this young man who's worth, we'll say, counting 20 million towards the cap, we're gambling 250 million or 225 million on his 25 million.
So here's the thing. The Dolphins are gambling on his health. I can admit there's truth in that statement. What they're not gambling on, Cap, is his ability to be the quarterback that they want him to be in this offense. They fully believe and have seen that he can be that guy.
As the point guard, like Mike McDaniel from that interview says, the facilitator, you're 100% right.
I know.
The problem is, I feel like they're gambling still. Even go ahead.
No. What I want to say is, so with that, since we both agree on that, who is the better option for the Dolphins this year? It's not Lamar. Lamar has just as many injury questions and could he run this offense? He's a running quarterback. It's a totally different style. So I don't believe Lamar's the quarterback for this offense or this team. Is it Aaron Rodgers, the guy who was 95% out the door and now all of a sudden turned it around? And by the way, we don't know what's going on with that situation. The Jets are scared he's not going to play more than 1 year. Are the Dolphins willing to give up whatever they need to give up plus pay Aaron for 1 year for just a 1 year window? What are they going to do? Because if you go out and get Aaron, you got to get rid of Tua. Tua's not going to stay, and he's not going to be happy.
I'm not gonna push back on both the arguments you make for why those are bad decisions. They're valid points, but you got to look at it like this. Don't ever underestimate the pettiness of Aaron Rodgers, of what he may accomplish just to prove people wrong. But I also agree, and this is what I've been saying to Jets fans. Look at the debacle they've signed themselves up for, that they're already in, and the man ain't even in the building. That guy can wreck an entire organization if he's off the leash. In a town like New York and in a town like Miami, a guy who's been in Green Bay, not a small market, but definitely you know what I'm saying, but it can just spiral.
Everything tells me that the Jets are going to jet this up, and it's going
to 100%. I've been going at their necks, bud. I've been going at their throats all over social media and everything. I've been going right at their necks because I feel like that's where they're going to end up. As far as Lamar goes, though, yes, Lamar has missed time with being hurt, but he's never had surgery. He's never had bone fractures. He's never had even half of the injuries Tua has accrued in his lifetime. And to me, Lamar's injuries, although, he took them in the pocket, the thing that makes him a little bit more concerning is that these leg injuries takes away the dynamic in his game. But I feel like, if you put him on this team, there would be no stopping him. There'd be no stopping this team at all. And I promise you, the entire world agrees with me. If you took this team as far as odds to the Super Bowl and, people picking us to, where we're going to end up as far as playoffs and seeding and everything like that, if you replace those two guys and switch them out and you put Lamar, we are unanimously picked as to win the division. We are unanimously tied with whoever's at the top to win the Super Bowl. It's reality.
I think that I'm going to agree with McDaniel on this, that he believes that Tua is the best person to be running the offense at this current moment in time. And the only person to me that makes a little bit more sense was Brady. It does, but Brady's not coming back. I don't.
So I will say this: I watch how Mike McDaniel is signing everything on his career on this quarterback, and I can only think that Chris Greer is going good, like that meme where the guy is like behind the tree, licking his lips, rubbing his hands together. I see Chris Greer doing that because now Chris Greer has a guy who has signed himself up publicly and privately for Tua, that if it fails, he can then chop him off and say, this man failed to do it.
I'm going to tell you right now, if this does not work, they better. And by the way, when I say it doesn't work, I'm talking about you got 2 years, maybe 3 to make this work. I think this is a 2 or 3 year deal. And with Tua, you get this year with Tua. If Tua doesn't do it this year, you still are in a Super Bowl window, but you better either be very happy with, if you can go out and get, what's his face? Caleb.
That's just it.
Caleb Williams.
There's where you're talking. There's where you're capping a little bit, bud. Because listen, there's not going to be any veteran quarterbacks coming up potentially. Like Matt Ryan or something might be available, but there's not going to be an Aaron Rodgers, not going to be a Lamar Jackson or Deshaun Watson or Tom Brady. Someone you can put in here that is an obvious super upgrade. So if you're talking about drafting a rookie, that rookie already, now you're going to ask a rookie in his rookie year to take you all the way to the Super Bowl. And if you're going to take it to 2025, you're already going to have to either re-sign guys. You got to remember, all these dudes are now 3 years older. Are they going to be the same? It's really a 2-year definite window. A 1 year for Tua to prove it, and a pivot to God only knows what else. To me, that's why, and Lou and I have been saying 2024, run it back. Or 2025, run it back, or whatever the heck. Yeah, 2023, run it back. Now 2024, run it back. Because if you sign yourself up with this quarterback and this coach and this thing, You are signing it up for a 2-year deal no matter what. I don't care if Tua goes down with injury next season. They can't pivot off of him to something else for a multitude of reasons. One, they'll never be able to get rid of him. They'll be carrying that 20+ million on the cap no matter what. No one will take him. And number two, other than drafting a rookie to hope to learn the system and be as a rookie, all this stuff, you're not going to get the results. They are literally signing away the foreseeable future this year. And that's the facts. If not, we are rebuilding in 2025, maybe signing some of our talent, and maybe they can stay consistent, and hopefully we have some form of consistent.
Yeah, but we're not. But Cap, to be fair, we're not anywhere close to there yet, and this thing is still playing out in front of our eyes in its current, and current and present tense, and we'll have to see what happens. What I will tell you is,
our present tense affects our future, buddy.
I understand. What I will tell you is, as it stands currently, I've never been more excited to be a Dolphins fan than I am right now. That's real. That's real.
I mean, Steven, we're excited, this excited all the time, every time. And don't lie to yourself. You know you've been just excited before.
No, I have not. Here's the thing. I'll tell you when I was excited. The last time I was this excited, right before Ricky retired in front of us, because I thought we had a chance, right? I was like, man, we're just a couple pieces away. We got this, right? And then Ricky retired. Just tore my heart up, right? That's probably the last time as a fan that I was. In fact, I don't even think I was that excited as I am to right now. I'm being dead serious. I don't think I've ever been this. Have I had hope? Have I had unbiased or unbiased? Have I had biased faith, undying loyalty, faith, hope? Yes, I have. But I've never been truly, holy shit. This is the squad.
Swear jar.
The offense is already top 10. The defense is already, with Fangio, is potential top 10. I highly think it will be. I'm excited. Am I optimistic? Maybe, but I am excited. Life says I get excited over a ham sandwich. No, I don't. I don't get excited over no ham sandwich.
Listen, I agree with your excitement, and I don't mean to temper it, but with looming questions about health concerns with the QB, I mean, that's the key position.
Concern. I've admitted
if it falls apart, if it falls apart from there, it'll all be for naught. And I'm telling you, buddy, they're making a decision.
Not the same thing that we've seen over the last 20 years. It's just not. It's not.
Okay. I hope all of us.
What you hope along with every other thing is you hope Tua stays healthy. Because if Tua stays healthy, then the odds are in my favor that it should turn out that way. If he doesn't, then I won't say it's because whatever. I'll say Tua just didn't turn out healthy, and that's what happened in this situation.
Well, here's another thing for you to chomp on.
Find a quarterback.
Here's another thing for you to chomp on. Okay, we're talking about the system and operating and how Tua can operate it perfect, but another concern in his game is what happens when it's time to operate outside of the system because things are breaking down. And it happens in the NFL. It happens every year to every team. You can't just go in there with this game plan and think everything's going to work. When you ask Tua to live off script and he holds the ball too long, that's when inevitably he takes hits that absolutely destroy him. And if you can't, I don't know, man. It's a huge ask, and you can get there. We can win games in the season. We can get, close to, this, that, or the other. But if we're not a competitive football team late in the season because of injuries or because teams have figured us out, I'll look at if we find what we saw last year, this year, it'll be noted by all the reasons you're saying you're excited as one of the most epic failures this franchise has had. And we've had plenty of epic failures that they decided to roll the dice again and triple down on a quarterback with the concerns that everyone knows about. I'm not saying they're wrong to do it, and I understand why they're doing it.
So let me say, I'm glad you said that. I'm not saying that they're wrong. If they fail, here's why I can live with it. All right. And I know people are going to, what? No. because for the first time, I believe everybody's on the same page. And if they fail, I can know in my heart of hearts, man, they believed in something. They tried to execute it. It just didn't work out. And that sucked. But I don't think I can say that for the last 20 years to any of the rebuilding structures. People are on different pages. People believe different things. People get fired halfway, through, after their second or third year. And then the next person comes in and they believe something totally different. No, this time it looks now. Am I getting ahead of myself? Like Mr. Negative said, look at Adam Gase after his first year. We were all excited. We were excited because we hadn't been to the playoffs in forever, except for from the Wildcat year. I hear you. I understand that. But to me, this is a night and day difference compared to that team and this team. Night and day.
I hope you're right. I do. I hope you also can see the parallels in the offense that Adam Gase was trying to bring.
They tried to replace Tua every year, Steven. They haven't done it this offseason.
You're kidding yourself, buddy. You're kidding yourself if you don't think that they've had discussions. Okay.
I think I 100% believe
Mike McDaniel.
I 100% believe they had a discussion about Lamar. I 100% believe they had a discussion about Aaron Rodgers. In no way, shape, or form did they act upon any of those. And when they finished with that conversation, they said, Tua's the guy for this team. Tua's the guy.
All I'm doing is all this hope and all these reasons. We need to make sure that if this organization falls flat on its face and it's directed from the quarterback position, that we're holding everybody accountable, because we will have 2024 run it back, because they'll just use the same excuses we hear every year. Oh, we need to get the O-line. We need to do this, blah, 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 blah. And then people in this fan base are all too willing to put themselves out there on the front line defending Tua for his shortcomings. And I'm not saying that he doesn't get over-criticized. It is one of the most over-criticized, positions in all of sports.
Do me a favor, and this is not just to you, Cap. This is for everybody in the chat. If I turn out to be correct, would you at least come back to my channel and just say, Steven, man, you saw it. You saw it from a mile away before any of us did. You saw it. That's all I want you to do. I don't want you to say you were right. I just want you to say you saw the vision before it came to fruition. That's it. That's all I want you to say.
Well, I mean, Steven, I think we all see the vision. We do. We see what their vision is. I see their vision.
Do we?
Course,
Andre
Steven,
said sure. Andre said sure. I appreciate that.
I'll always come back, buddy. You know that. Whether I'm going to tip my cap to you being right or wrong, we don't have to go into those semantics.
No, I'm not. And by the way, I don't want you to sit here and say that I was right. And I know that's what it comes out sounding like. I get it. But I'm honestly, I don't think I've ever had a clearer vision for where this team is headed than I do right now. I don't.
But Steven, don't you remember when we were talking the year before the tank season, the year before blowing it up and selling off talent? It was unanimous amongst the fan base. Well, not unanimous. There was plenty of us, but we understood that, hey, this organization has struck out drafting quarterbacks or bringing in quarterbacks, that we need to find somebody who can be a point guard. But before we get that person, we need to blow this thing up and start building a football team that we can grow. We knew, we talked about this vision in length. Amongst ourselves, amongst family and friends and other Dolphins fans, we know the vision. Are they botching it? Did they sign up the wrong guy? That's the real question. Did they hitch their wagon to the wrong dude?
I will be the first to come up here and say, man, everybody's, including mine, because I still said there's a caveat on his health. I've never dismissed that. Cap, have I dismissed his health concern?
I don't think anyone in their right mind could dismiss it, buddy.
You can't.
No.
If it is anything besides health, I will be the first one to stand up and say, man, I was wrong. I believed in McDaniel when I shouldn't have. I believed in Greer when I shouldn't have. I'll be the first one screaming at the top of that hill if it's anything besides health. I know what they're gambling with here. I am choosing to be okay with what they're gambling. They're gambling on that Tua's health shows up on the right side of this thing. That's what they're gambling on. They believe he has the talent. They believe he's the guy to run this offense. They believe he can take us to the promised land. If he doesn't for any other reason besides health, I'll shut the hell up. I'll be quiet. I won't say nothing else. I'll still have a channel. I'll still allow you guys to come up here, but I will not say I don't know what to believe anymore. Because to me, if this doesn't work out, and I don't know what I should believe, and that's real.
No, we're in a real rough spot if this doesn't work out. That's the truth. If this doesn't work out and we're rolling into 2024 with the same questions we have right now,
here
we're
we
in
go,
deep trouble.
Andres, right here. I just shook hands virtually with Andres.
I shake hands with you right now. I will come back and say Stephen D's foresight for the plan working out was great. I will totally do that.
Yeah.
So, and if it's any other reason other than, we'll set up and we'll do a simulcast or something, and we'll talk it through together.
I'm down with it all, Cat. I'm down with it all. All right, brother.
All right.
Hey, man.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you later,
I
man.
love you, man.
Hey, make sure everybody's hitting the like button and donating to the channel. We always use the donations. Make sure you guys are hooking it up. Become a member, everyone. Later, bud.
Thank you, Cap. Love you, man. Be good.
Love you too, bud.
All right, one last person, and actually, there's two. I got two guys. I got two more people, and then I'm done. Two more, then I'm done. Crip, what's up, Crypto?
What's going on, Steven?
What's going on, man?
First of all, I got to tell you, you're just so dead wrong on so many levels when it comes to Marino. Number one, First of all, to make a statement like that means you have no sense of history of Dolphin history. Number one, to say it only takes one Super Bowl victory.
Marino never won a Super Bowl. Look, I'm telling you this: if Tua win, I keep on repeating.
Listen, you still haven't heard me. Once again, you're getting selective amnesia. To use that logic to say that Tua is better than Marino based on one Super Bowl victory, you're totally discounting your own franchise's history. Meaning there was once a quarterback that led his team to a perfect season. So you're just going to discount that guy's season just because you're all in your feelings about discounting what Marino did with his franchise.
Talking about the guy who didn't play 3/4 of the season and Earl Morrall played?
Whoever played the other 3/4 is responsible for the perfect season. So by that logic, he will be ahead of Marino.
Earl Morrall played most of that season.
Okay, then that means Earl Morrall will be better according to your logic than Dan Marino. First of all, he played in the Super Bowl. He played in 16 of the 17 games.
Look,
you're missing the point.
No, you guys
using that logic.
Crypto. Let me talk. You guys.
No. What I'm saying is
one thing got in your feelings because I talked about the man who I love, who I'm in love with. I'm in love with.
But the point is, he led that team to a perfect season.
About it.
He led that team to a perfect season, Steven. By your logic, that guy would be better than Marino.
I'm talking about Marino.
Okay, then you're saying Marino can't be better than Tua because he didn't win the Super Bowl. I'm trying to tell you somebody that already won a Super Bowl.
The question was asked to me, verbatim, Steven, if Tua wins you a Super Bowl, would you put him ahead of Marino? That was how
you're saying you're going to put him at the best in Dolphin history.
I would have to.
It's not because there's a quarterback that led them to a perfect season.
That quarterback during that season was hurt most of the year, so I can't count him as the full quarterback.
It was.
That
Tua would have been hurt most of the year. Then you're not going to play all 17 games leading us to a Super Bowl.
Okay.
You have to qualify as him playing all the games then. If you're going to say that quarterback didn't play the whole season in 72, then if Tua misses one game, that means he disqualified then. Because he wouldn't have contributed to the team's total success. You can't just discount the man because he didn't play the full season. He still was a part of the perfect season.
Did I in any way, shape, or form dismiss what Dan Marino's done for this franchise? Did I in any way, shape, or form dismiss
You're basically saying Trent Dilfer is better, being more accomplished because he didn't win a Super Bowl.
Dilfer was better. I'm not comparing Trent Dilfer and the Baltimore Ravens 2000 team to this Dolphins team.
It's not Marino's fault he didn't have a Raven-like defense.
Oh my God, you are straight up in your feelings, cuz. You are. I've never heard you more in your feelings than you are right now.
It's not how. I'm just telling you.
You're legit hurt that I said something bad about Dan Marino, and it wasn't even bad. The question, again, was phrased to me. In my opinion, it's not even that it's gospel. It's not even that it's the truth. It's would I put Tua ahead of Marino?
You're misguided.
If he wins the
Super Bowl. I'm trying to tell you, using your logic, using your logic, Marino would be the 10th best quarterback in Dolphin history. Using your logic. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Marino, in my opinion, is the best quarterback in Miami Dolphins history. And then it's Kevin Lee says Mike White will be playing the last game of the season and into the playoffs. Watch, Steven. It's inevitable. Unfortunately, with Tua, we need a running quarterback in order to go far in the playoffs. Okay. Sal says, Steven, your opinion.
Lamar Jackson did beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
You lost, Steven. Rick Spar says, you're sounding like a newbie, Steven. G says, crypto's frying hot dogs. All right. I mean, look, it was my opinion. I didn't say that.
Okay, that's fine, Steven. I'm just saying your opinion is a little misguided.
I don't believe that it is. I want a Super Bowl.
It's derailed. Okay, that's another one. I'm glad you said that. You believe in evolution as far as teams getting better, talent level getting better over time?
B. McD
like, let's say
what movie is Tua in?
Let's say every 10 years, do you think, Steven, every 10 years that the game will evolve? Let's say 2033, 10 years from now, you think the game, players will be better, faster, stronger than today?
Yeah. Yes.
Just the overall evolution of the game, right?
Yeah.
Who is to say the 2033 Dolphins is not going to be, just by a system of evolution, will be better than 2023's Dolphins? So in other words, what I'm saying, we'll be having the same argument.
Skylar Thompson will save the season once again. Y'all laughed at it.
In other words, what I'm trying to say, Steven,
until it's not, just sit back and watch.
In other words, Steven, what I'm trying to say, the evolution of the game and how things get better over time. In 2033, I guarantee you we'll be having this argument about how good that team is versus this team.
According to that logic, Tua's playing in a harder NFL than Dan Marino was. Because the game's tougher. It's better.
No, it's gotten better as far as the skill set, as far as the talent overall. But the rules were different. It's much more difficult. You can maul a wide receiver all the way down the field from start to finish.
You're changing your philosophy to fit your narrative?
No. You know how cupcake this league is. You can't touch guys like you can touch James.
You're not wrong about that. I'm just going based off what you just said. You sat here for 5 minutes and tried to say, is the game evolved every 10 years? The game evolves, right? It's a different
what
game.
I'm trying to do, what I'm using that is to debunk this whole narrative that we always say that we are better than the previous 10 years. Well, naturally you are.
You know what, Crypto? I'm gonna end it like this. Your feelings got hurt. So did a lot of people in the chat, and y'all didn't like what I said. Okay.
What I'm saying, Steven,
that's all that.
What I'm saying, Steven, if we don't win the Super Bowl,
stop crying.
If we don't win the Super Bowl, Steven, it will be your fault for gassing everybody up, and then we'll have this discussion in 2033 all over again. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it'll be a different quarterback at that time, probably.
Exactly, and you'll be saying the same thing, that we're better than the previous 10 years, and it's the best team we've ever had. That team in 2033 and that fan base will be spewing the same thing that you're saying now.
Y'all got in y'all's feelings. That's how I'm looking at it. Stop crying.
No, I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you that that's what it is. And Triple S was spot on. The what you call need to be rebuilt. When you said X was excited about playing with Jalen Ramsey, you know what that sound like, Steven?
What?
That's like saying I'm excited to be in a porn movie with Vivica Fox when she's 85 years old. That's what that sounds like.
Crypto, bye. Get out of here. I love you. Have a good day.
That says nothing. That's exactly what that says.
refuse to
I'm
deal with you
excited to be in
anymore,
a porn
Crypto.
with Vivica Fox at 85.
All
It's
right,
like
you're
him
done.
saying he want to
I
be with
love you.
Jalen Ramsey.
Say goodbye, Crypto.
So I am not excited about X.
Crypto.
He has to go.
Say goodbye. Say goodbye to everybody. Say bye.
I'm just saying, Steven, we got to draft a cornerback. Jalen Ramsey.
I can't. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't. I got to get out of here. And you keep on extending the conversation. Okay? All right. Now, in the history of my show, I have took 2 people off without getting. Pete was 1, and now you. Okay? So I've done it twice on my show. Okay? Done it twice. I can't, Crypto. Not today. Can't do it. Won't do it. Help me, Batman. Just help me, please.
Good morning, Steven. How you doing?
I'm getting smoked and cooked in the chat, according to everybody.
Good afternoon. My bad on that. I said good morning.
Super V said, good morning to you, by the way. Super V says there's a lot of immature fans on this channel. I'm out. Steven, you're open-minded and objective. Keep on pushing the great content. Thank you, Super V. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Batman.
I'm just calling out the hypocrisy that we have in our fan base. Like
there's no hypocrisy in this fan base, Batman. What are you talking about? Nobody's hypocritical of anything.
Of course not. Capitan coming out here crying about Marino just based on a statement you made. It's ridiculous. Crypto talking about hot dogs.
I know. Worst takes ever.
I was gonna make
worst takes ever.
I was gonna make it short and sweet. I'm gonna say, hey, listen, we're gonna have a really exciting season coming up, and everybody needs to be positive. Just like the positivity, the fake positivity they were spreading a couple weeks ago. Let's be positive about this team. Greer's cooking something in the kitchen. Something's coming up in the draft. There's rumors that they might trade up. They might go get the savior when it comes to running back. That's the rumor on the streets. So
that's what you heard from your sauces, Batman.
No, so McDaniel is very impressed with the Alabama running back Jahmyr Gibbs. He is a first-round talent. Some people will say generational. I don't think so, but he's pretty good. And if the Dolphins get him, he would be a weapon like no other. He is Alvin Kamara, but faster. And they get him, McDaniel, there's rumors that the Dolphins are willing to trade up in the second round. They're not going to trade up into the first round, but if he slides into the second round, Miami could move up to go get him. McDaniel's very impressed with him. He likes the weapon that he is. That would change our dynamic of our offense. That would please everybody that still wants a running back. I know we have other issues. We have inside linebacker that we need to address. We do need to address line. I believe McDaniel would address the O-line at least twice in the draft. There's also the possibility we could trade back. We could trade that second pick depending on who's there. McDaniel will be willing to pick up another third, maybe a fourth or a fifth. But from what I've been hearing, the Dolphins will pick up 2 offensive linemen in the draft. So if you do the math, we got 4 picks, 2 offensive linemen. That leaves 2 picks for linebacker, tight end, or corner. So I just wanted to be short and sweet, calling all the haters out. I got love for them, but they're all haters, Steven. They're all haters.
They're all hypocrites. They're all haters, Batman. I agree with you. Every last one of them.
The double H, hypocrites and haters. That's what they are.
And they get in their feelings anytime you said something about the savior.
Of course. But everybody have a blessed day, Steven. Appreciate you having me. Everyone have an amazing day. Do something positive for somebody.
Love you, man.
Much love. Appreciate
Be good. I'll give you one more chance to say goodbye. Don't blow it.
All right, Steven. One more chance. All right.
One more chance. You're on thin ice, Crypto. Don't you do it.
Why you being a bully, Steven?
I'm not being a bully. I'm Mr. Spread Kindness, Positivity, and Love. Ain't no bullies here, okay? You're on thin ice, Mr. Hot Dog Man. Say your goodbyes to everybody.
I'm saying my goodbyes to everybody, Steven. You had a great show. I can put up with you being bullied. I love it. For every reaction, there's an opposite reaction.
Today, I admit I had people were.
But you're dead wrong on your Marino take.
I'm not.
It's
dead
all
wrong.
right.
It's my opinion.
We'll bring you to the light.
And you know what the best part about my opinion is, Crypto?
What's that?
That if it comes to fruition, the Dolphins got a Super Bowl.
That's it.
So who's gonna be mad if my thing comes to fruition? Don't worry, I'll wait. Who's gonna be mad at my opinion?
No one.
Nobody.
It's not about being mad.
Yeah, stop the hate.
Steven, at the end of the day, well, at the beginning of the day,
I'm disappointed.
Middle and end of the day,
just disappointed.
We all gonna be happy when we win it all.
We're all gonna be. We're gonna be. Everybody's gonna be excited.
And what happens if we go to 2004 Baltimore Ravens route when we win it? We're still gonna be happy, right?
I just want a Super Bowl ring. I'll worry about anything else when it gets there. That's it.
There you go. You got to win one in your lifetime.
Joshua Stewart says, I love you, Steven, but you know Marino's better than Tua by miles.
Tua will have to probably win the next 20 Super Bowls just to be in second place to Marino.
Oh, my
you
God.
Got that?
Please.
Think about that for a moment.
I will not.
Let that simmer. For a moment. He would need to win the next 20 just to be in second place.
I will not. No, sir. And if Tua wins a Super Bowl, ain't nobody up here going to be upset. We're all going to be rejoicing,
we'll be happy,
and yelling,
and
screaming and crying. Omar Castro said, hot dogs for everybody. You get a hot dog. You get a hot dog.
That's right.
I love you,
Hot dogs for everybody.
Be good.
Nathan Special. Be easy on the mustard.
I do. What do you put on your hot dog, Crypto?
Mustard, relish.
You put ketchup?
Grilled onions.
Ketchup?
Maybe ketchup every now and then, yeah. I'll do
ketchup. Ketchup goes on a hot dog.
Corn dogs. Ketchup goes on corn dogs and mustard.
I'm going to say ketchup, mustard, and onions are like, I'm good.
Grilled onions.
Grilled onions are pretty good, yeah. But I can take chopped up raw onions too.
You don't like corn dogs, Steven?
I do. I haven't had corn dogs in a long time though. I'm trying to eat healthy. As a matter of fact,
I can't eat them too often either.
I am really close to hitting a milestone and on the scale backwards that I haven't seen in probably 2 or 3 years. So
since your high school days?
No, not that good. I'm not there yet.
Good.
I'll tell you what. Coaching these 7 and 8 year olds. Whew, that's all I know.
Steven, you gonna be ready? You gonna be ready in time for the 24 Olympics?
Look, you talk to my agent, and I will get back to you about the Olympics. Okay. All right.
Okay. We just make sure. We got to get you ready for the 24 Olympics.
People talk to those people, and then they'll work it out. Okay.
Okay. We're gonna get you in the decathlon event. Yeah.
What you said is the stupidest, most ignorant, most horrible thing we've ever heard. We are all stupider for having listened to it. I award you no points. And may God have mercy on your soul.
You just hacked that whole line up.
I did mess it all up, but I didn't care. You knew where I was going with it, Crypto.
Yeah, I know where you was going with it. I remember when Drubitron first showed that video. That was pretty good.
Drube is the man. Shout out to Drube. I miss you, Drube, wherever you're at.
Shout out.
All right, get out of here. Love you, man.
Love you too, Steven. Be good, man.
Yep. All right, Kevin Lee says, Steven, before you go, what's your take on the Mavs? See, I told you it wouldn't work out about a month ago. They can't win and are out of the playoffs now. You're right. Feel bad for Mark Cuban. I like that guy. G says, pounds for donations. Pounds for donations. I mean, I'm all about donations. Let it happen. Donate to the channel. Help the channel grow, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Dolphin72 says, every offseason, the Dolphins win the Homer Bowl just the way our fans like it. LOL. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Pounds for donate. Oh, I saw what you meant there. I get it now, G. All right. Well, I've lost 34 pounds. So where's $34 in donations? Let's go. 34 pounds, $34 in donations. Let's go. No? Yes? We'll see what happens. You guys are the best. Tomorrow, Spread Kindness Friday. I don't know if Jason Sarni's coming on with me or not. I know he's getting ready to go out on that cruise. I think he's coming on. He should be coming on. I'm pretty sure he is. But we'll see. But yes, tomorrow. So at the moment, by the way, we have Wildin' Out Wednesday with Lewis next week. We got Spread Kindness Friday with Cameron. So I got to find Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday shows. Okay? I will set it up for everybody. Everybody will be good. Okay? Cash App B McD says. There we go. Cash App is... Where's the Cash App? There we go. It's in the description, but I'll drop it in the link. Right there. Bam. Like it. Like it. There's the Cash App. You guys can Cash App or PayPal me. Tomorrow's Friday, Spread Kindness Friday. You guys are the best fans in the world. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's been a lot of fun. We're going to enjoy your rest of your day today. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your loved ones. If you're a hater, keep on hating. You guys are the best. I love you guys. Hope you all are good. We'll see y'all tomorrow on Spread Kindness Friday. Peace and hair grease. Happy opening day. Go Orioles. Go Marlins. To you crazy Cub fans out there, go Cubs, I guess. You guys are the best. We'll see y'all tomorrow right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Peace.
My intuition told me this. To trust the coach, he holds a gift. He knowing when to go with fit. So we knowing when to switch. This year we got the golden pick. Time to see what that pick about. Bad vibes get sent out. Only fans up in this house. We been waiting, yeah, we been patient. Now it's time to cash out, no discount. Super Bowl, yeah, we in route. I don't know when, but it's close. I don't want to overhype, but I just know I like it. So excited, but he gon' notice now. You should know the ride. They say Tua from that rock. Shout out to Samoa and Islands. Time to lay the smack down. You think you Dwayne Johnson. Time to be the people's champ. Hit them with the people's elbows. Stick together like it's Velcro. You think you could stop us? Hell no, all day I dream about sports. I think I need some shadows. Custom with some darkest colors. Just to let them know we here. Yeah. I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter collar. Whole squad been trained to go. Biz for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time.